You're playing golf? You say you're playing golf. Dude, they're playing for a national title, for Christ's sake. No, you don't have... No, you drove them into the frickin' ground and BP saved them. Shit, I gotta go. Just do whatever. Hey, guys. What is going on? My name is JG. I am the Commodore at Auburn Sports. You may know me. I have streamed before. It has been a while. It has been months. I think the last time we streamed would have been November when the Auburn Tigers lost in a game against the hated Alabama Crimson Tide on the football field. But those days are over. And now Alex Golesh is the head coach at Auburn playing football, but we don't care about football right now. Yes, we do. Of course we care about football. But we care more about basketball because the basketball team is playing for a national title tonight. And where is my sound, guys? Can we not get this stuff working? Oh, my goodness. You've got to be kidding me. I have sounds. I have new sounds. I have a new sound just for you guys tonight. And I turned it off. Why is there no sound, guys? What are we doing? This is not a championship stream if we don't have sounds. Now we're going to have sounds. Ready? Oh! We're going to do that when Auburn hits a 3, or maybe we'll do this one. It's so good to be back. Okay, we do have some super chats that are coming through from my main man, Cleveland Brown, who always reminds me, of course, but everyone, to stay hydrated. Thank you, Cleveland Brown. I'll give you a super chat. Thank you for that. He says, Wardam Eagle, stay hydrated, LFG. He's fired up, and I'm not trying to read anything into what Cleveland's thinking about things, but some people are fired up that Auburn Tigers are playing for a national title tonight. I'm not saying Cleveland is in that boat, that he believes this is a true national title. But, hey, here's the way I look at it. It's another opportunity to watch the Auburn Tigers play basketball, and for me, that's good. I like watching it. I feel like the team's better. I feel like we're watching probably the best version of Auburn at this point, and even though she may not be the prettiest girl around, at least she looks good tonight. You know what I mean? Or at least she looks decent. She's a 6. She's a 6, but she was a 3 before, so it's like, you know, it's good. It's a step forward. That's how I feel about it anyway. We also have a super chat coming through from Sir T-Roy Tiger, who is royalty as far as I'm concerned down in Pike County and other places. He says, in the annals of Auburn men's basketball history, weight the importance of this game from unkempt to bleached. Listen to this guy, man. That is well said. Unkempt to bleached. Thank you for that. That is, of course, I think he's talking about hair. He has strong opinions about a certain male's hair. I have a silver coin here. I've been using this as a good luck charm. It's a Canadian maple. That's what we call that. Fully silver. It's worth about, I don't know, $65, $70. The Queen Elizabeth on the back. It's our good luck charm tonight. I don't know why a Canadian coin would be a good luck charm in the NIT, but hell, that's where we are, and that's what we're going to do. Thank you, T. Roy, and I look forward to seeing you again soon, bro. The runner, you know him as the Runner 24, and he's one of our East Coast legends, and hopefully we're going to rendezvous with him when we go up the East Coast later this year. Wifey and I are going to be going. He says, flags fly forever. Look at that. He loves it. Look, I'm giving him an applause for that. You can't take the flags down unless it's Chuck Person. I mean, you could. They chose not to, but they could have. T-Roy says, spot toning. You're absolutely right. It does have a kind of a little blemish on that bad boy, which I'm not in love with, but my man at the coin shop says it doesn't really matter. And I swear, there was no cigarettes put out on this, I promise you. There it is. Hornatius says, it is a national title. It's the dang National Invitational Tournament. The entire country could have been invited, and the Auburn Tigers are going to be playing for the title. So, I mean, that to me, that is a national title. All right? Let's go ahead and bounce over to our main page here, and hopefully our chat will populate the way that it's supposed to. We had to dust off the old basketball drain here because we haven't run a basketball drain in a long time, guys. So, yeah, that's what I put together there. Fran Fraschilla, who I interviewed early in my career when he was the head coach at Manhattan. One of his players transferred from Manhattan to University of Kentucky when I was a student there. His name was Hashimu Evans, and he was one of my favorite players ever to cover. Called Fran Fraschilla, and he gave me an interview live from Manhattan, I suppose. I don't know who the hell he was. Daniel D., last name redacted, jumps in with a super chat to say, do you believe in Golesh? Because I don't. Here's my answer to that, and I'm happy to answer any questions about Golesh as we move on tonight because I know how this works. I cover up everything school, but football matters. I think that Alex Golesh is as good a coach as Auburn could have hired, who isn't just like a big name, like who he didn't go out and spend $15 million to pull like a Lane Kiffin or something. You guys remember when we were talking about this during the football season, and I think Chip was on board with me here. and as some of you guys, other folks were as well. I wanted a coach who was the closest thing to Pat Dye, and I said, I don't care who it is, you tell me. Whoever that person is, I need somebody who's the closest thing to Pat Dye, because if Auburn's going to get their ass beat again, at least let it be someone tough and nasty, right? Alex Golesh is that. He is a tough and he's a nasty person. He is. He's not the kind of guy that will beat people to a pulp, but he is a guy that he chews ass and he goes after people, and you don't. He's certainly not soft. Under no circumstances he's soft. So I think it was a good hire, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, are they going to go out there and lay an egg? We've sure seen a lot of egg laying in the last few years, so that wouldn't be crazy, but it would suck. I think they're going to be tougher, and I think they're going to be better. I think Byram's good. I think the wide receivers are going to be a step forward, even though they came from USF. Draw your own conclusions from that. I just think they're going to be better. I think the offensive line, they got like dudes that are offensive linemen playing offensive line now. You know what I mean? Like, it used to be guys that were highly rated who a lot of experts thought were going to be good offensive linemen. Now they've got guys that are actually good offensive linemen who played the game, who have proven themselves at the college level and who are tough. You got a lot of guys like Danny Lindsay and Jeremy Ingle and just hard-hitting dudes from the country. Do you know what I mean? And personally, I like that. Because when in doubt, get some dudes that are tough and nasty. I can win with that. The Auburn Tigers are underway. The Auburn Tigers won the tip. And we are underway against the hated Tulsa Golden Hurricanes. Some of you sharp-eyed viewers, I should say sharp-eared viewers, may have in your head, hey, I think there's some connection between JG and Tulsa. The answer to that is yes. Jay went to high school in Tulsa, Oklahoma, graduated from Holland Hall in 1990, and I never went to a basketball game at Tulsa. I went to some football games, and I went to a wild fraternity party at the Pike House in 1989 where they fired a fucking cannon into the Kappa Sig House. So it's no surprise that JG ended up as a Pike. Yes, not at Tulsa, but at Transylvania University. Crocky Poo jumps in with a super chat. We are so glad to have Crocky here. Whenever Crocky's with us, our intelligence goes up at least 5 points because he's that far ahead of us. He's certainly ahead of me. And we thank you, Crocky. I want to thank you personally for, first of all, staying with us at the new site and just bringing not just bringing the stuff that you bring, but I feel like you're bringing an even richer array, smorgasbord of information to the site. So thank you very much. And one other great thing about Crocky is he brings good information, interesting information. He's not a dick. He doesn't have an E attitude. And he's just a mild-mannered, friendly, good bunk. And that's how I feel about him. He's very valuable to the community, and we love having you here. Thank you for the super chat, G. I can't stick up with this every single point, but I will do my best to stick up with the points. But that's the deal. Let's see. Who was that? It said just another party. Stu Pup, my man right here, says, happy draining fam. A chance to win the last one in basketball is rare. That's very true. Let's win the game and cut some nets. Looks like Philip Jovich gets his first bucket of the ball game. He had a really nice game, I thought, in the semifinal against Illinois State. And he's been, probably every other game has been pretty good for him in the last 10 or so. Remember, it used to be like 1 of 10. Ooh, KO had a nice resistance on that drive right there and blocked it, deflected it up to... another nice dish from Tahad. When Tahad's in administration mode, I think he's at his best. And boy, that was a nice dish right there. I do want to give Stu Pup, of course, credit. He has super chatted me every single show I've ever done. And super supportive. And also doing a great job. I don't really want to go into too much details, but he's done some really nice things off the board for a bunch of kids. And you're doing good stuff, Stu Pup. Appreciate you, bro. Let's see. Bill M., last name redacted, says, flying to Vegas tonight, missed draining. My man, that is a great place to be going to. I'm jealous. Some of my friends went to Vegas recently and didn't invite us. And that really hurt. That really hurt. Uh-oh. Tahad with a 3-ball. And the Auburn Tigers, you cannot take this away from them now. They have started well. They have started this game very well. And we're happy about that because they don't necessarily do that all the time. This is the thing about Tulsa, though. They can all shoot. They don't necessarily all make, but they all shoot. So they just called a foul on, I guess, Tahad here because he had great positioning. But he was kind of backing him out, I guess. Are you guys good with the font size on the chat here on the screen? I know it was way too big previously. I lowered the font size. Sorry, I'm watching the Auburn Tigers play. I want to make sure you guys can read it and it's okay for that. Chipper said just another party talking about firing the cannon into the Kappa Sig house. It was news at the time. I was very glad to be there. What a nice play by Tahad Pettiford. Did you see that? Dude, Tahad's playing it, man. I love it when he plays like this. He's doing the little things, man. Look at this block, dude. Look at this. And no foul called either. Man, that's great. That's awesome right there. Hagen S., one of my most valuable friends, confidants, conciliaries. Glad to have you here, brother. Saw him on Friday. He's teaching my daughter a few lessons about how to manage money, how to put money away for when you get older. Oh, that's BS. I don't agree with that call, but it's not the worst thing I've ever seen. Crockett Boo says everything's good. Hopefully that's about the size there. The font size, I should say. E Taxman says, who we holding on to for next season? That's going to be a guess at best. However, I believe they will hold on to KO. I think they'll hold on to, well, me and Hoke were talking the other day. We've kind of switched our view on Sway. I think Sway will be back. Jovic will be back. And Elijah, I think, will be back. So I think those four, that's a great nucleus to have. Plus, you've got the French dude, and you've got Caleb, the freshman, Caleb Williams, coming in. So, I mean, you probably need 4 or 5 more guys. And we'll see what BK comes up with. BK is the general manager now who came over from University of Louisville. And he's already played a big role in them getting that French dude. And I think this guy's going to help a lot. I really do. Let's see. Stoop Up says, my house is going for our second NIT in a row. Wife's alma mater won it last year. Does anyone know who won it last year? Because I don't. I don't know who that is. It could have been anybody. I don't know. I can look it up, though. 2025 NIT champions. Let's see who it is. The Chattanooga Mocs. Mocs. They defeated the UC Irvine Anteaters 85-84 in an overtime game. Wow. How lucky are we how lucky is the world to have seen that ball game? Jovic is going to post him up, but he's going to take a very errant shot. What happens, man? What the world? What in the world? Okay, I got a super chat coming through from Justin C. Last name redacted. Don't want to give his identity away. 4-9. I guess Tulsa scored on that trip down the floor. KO with a little teardropper down the lane. I like to call that the Miles Simon. Miles Simon did that a bunch in the 97 NCAA tournament and ended up playing a role in Kentucky losing that game. Wow, good effort from Tahad again. He is playing a 10 out of 10 right now, even though he wears 0. Justin C. says, great to have you back. Please stream more next year for big basketball games. What did the missus think of Steven's raincoat? She did have opinions about his coat. She thinks it's great that he was wearing, this is back when he was doing it right at the end of the regular season and at the SEC tournament. She thought it was awesome. She has not, I know most of us who are watching the stream believe in the NIT, believe there's some value in watching this game. My wife does not think that there's value in watching this game. I think she thinks the NIT is a joke. So I guess she doesn't know about that. I will say this, though. I don't know if you guys are baseball fans, but Joey Dell, who plays right field for the Los Angeles Angels, he made 3 home run saving catches at the wall last night, 2 against the what I would call the outfield wall, and 1 like going into the stands along the foul pole. He made 3 home run saving catches last night, which I think is, I probably won't see it again for the rest of my life. And Joe Adell is a graduate of the same high school that my wife is a graduate of, which is Ballard High School in greater Louisville, Kentucky. So there we go. Hornacious says AA is a Bammer. How dare you? She is lots of things, but she is definitely not a Bammer. She's Auburn 100% of the way when it comes to Auburn versus Alabama. She may be a little bit of a Louisville fan, but she is certainly not a Bammer. Cleveland says, tell AA we respectfully disagree. Justin says the one that Adell it just says the one Adell picked in the outfield stands is epic. Yeah. The picture. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. So he went over that little, it was down the foul line, but he caught it in play, in bounds is the word I'm using. And then he rolled into the stands. But after he caught it, he stood up and he kind of held it up. And some fans from right behind him got the picture. And it's just, it's epic. It's one of the probably the greatest fan caught photo in baseball history. It's really something, man. It was really something. And, I'm around a Ballard graduate every single day who's doing great things, but it's good to see Joe Adell picking up the slack for some of these other Ballard people. Let me see if I can get that picture, because if you guys aren't paying attention to baseball, which I wouldn't blame you one bit, baseball is kind of a snooze fest, but yeah, let's see, MLB.com. Oh, God, they're doing the Instagram BS. Bastard. Anyway, MLB.com wrote a story about it, which is good. Yeah, you'd have to look it up. I'm trying to pull it up, and I would have pulled it up for you guys, but it's just not here. But it was epic. Believe me when I tell you. Disappointed I couldn't get that for you. All right, let's focus on the Auburn Tigers. 11-4. The Auburn Tigers are 4 of 7 from the floor. The Golden Hurricane is 1 of 7 from the floor. They're 2 of 2 at the line. The Auburn Tigers are 2 of 3. Rebounding is 6-2 in favor of the Auburn Tigers. So based on those numbers right there, you would think that Auburn would be more ahead, honestly. But 2 turnovers for the Auburn Tigers is a little bit of a problem. But, it's minor things here. How are we feeling about SP sitting on the stool for the games? I meant to write a story about that because I asked a bunch of questions about it, but I just never got around to that one. They gave those out at the SEC tournament, so they were just there. And he was like, well, I mean, if it's here, I'll try it. And I think he just really enjoyed it. He said that it makes him feel more calm. Just relatively speaking. Oh, Elijah. He was fouled, I think, before the bucket went in. Let's see. Chipper says Murph bailing might be the best thing to happen to Auburn basketball this season. It's so interesting you say that, because going into, I guess, coming out of the last game in the SEC tournament, Murph was like probably my favorite player on the whole team. I just thought so highly of him. He'd been so credible and cool like all year long. And then he just kind of bounces, right? When they get into the NIT, he's like, nah, I'm good. Which I think is, I don't want to give him too much hell, but thumbs down on that. And so now it's like, are they better without him? I mean, not really, but they kind of are, but they kind of aren't, right? Can't believe that he bailed like that, but whatever. Spinnaker Sailor, who you know may know better as Ravin, says statistically at an advantage in the game at the moment is what you're saying, JG. That is absolutely true. I'm going to give you a applause for that one, my guy. And I kind of out of practice here running the stream. I haven't run a stream in like, what is this? Halftime of the Oklahoma City Thunder game. They are up 21 on the Jazz. I know Ravin is pretty fired about that. Ravin likes the Thunder when it's not involving the Celtics. He's a big Celtics guy. And I don't generally like the Celtics, but I follow them because of him, and I like them more. I also think they're one of the only teams in the East that belongs in the playoffs. All right, so the Tulsa point guard was trying to sneak one through there, and he missed it. Tulsa still can't hit a three right now, and I just called him for a foul. Let me give Auburn. I've negated Auburn a bucket, which I would never do on purpose. And it was Elijah's jumper that I missed. So 13-4. Rebounding is still 7-3 in favor of Auburn. Tulsa does not have an assist yet. Of course, they only have 1 bucket. The Auburn Tigers have 3 assists on 5 buckets. So in general, this game is unfolding in a way that is very satisfying to Stephen Pearl. Talon says the master of awkward movement. That's a reference to something I wrote about Jovic, who even looked pretty good in this last game, right? I was like, if anyone's going to make something look awkward, it's 38. Which, by the way, I love that number. Some of you guys who might be into like the numbers thing, you should know what 38 means. Thought Elijah might have gotten pushed there on the 3, but they decided no. Stoop Up says this is the quickest Auburn has moved their feet on D all year. I definitely think they are much more into defense now. There's something. I think they're just kind of into the game now. These games actually have a little bit of gravity to them. I know it's the NIT, but it matters, you know. I think sometimes I didn't really care that much. And then, sway. 16-4, the Auburn Tigers are up right now, playing really pretty good ball. 8 rebounds to 4. Assists is 4-0 in favor of the Auburn Tigers. They're 1 of 10 from the floor. The Auburn Tigers are 6 of 10, including 2 of 5 from 3. So this is a terrific situation for the Auburn Tigers. Tulsa's a pretty good ball club. They won 30 games this year so far. Auburn Tigers, I think, are at 21. But, of course, you know, Tulsa plays a different kind of schedule than the Auburn Tigers do. Let's see. Ravin says, not many NBA teams have fun players to watch in positions 1 through 5. The Celtics and Thunder do. Pritchard is certainly fun to watch. Jaylen Brown is certainly fun to watch. There was another one. There's a few other Celtics that are fun to watch. I only watch the Celtics. Listen, guys, I watch only the Thunder. So if they're not playing the Thunder, I'm not watching them. Let's see. Feel like a stranger. What's up, my guy? I know I've seen you on the board, but I'm so glad to have you here, bro. He says, I was getting settled in, but did I hear you say that you now expect Sway, Jovic, Freeman, and Overton back? Thanks. That is my prediction, and I have run this by Hoke, whose opinion I very much respect when it comes to basketball. Well, really all matters, but basketball in particular. And we both feel like the needle for Sway is on the Auburn side. Now, I was concerned like a month ago that he was going to go to Houston, and I still am to some degree, but I think he's going to stay. I do. Let's see. Robert S., last name redacted, said the competition is weak, though, JG. Maybe talking about the East Conference, or really it's the Celtics. For me, it's the Celtics and the Detroit Pistons. And I thought Charlotte was going to be there because they were super, super hot in January and February and into March. But I don't know, man. Like they're fighting to just get in the playoffs still. And I don't know. I don't know if they're quite there. I feel like there's one East team I'm missing, though, that's actually pretty good. Again, I'm watching just Thunder, so I don't necessarily notice. I pay more attention to like the Spurs and the Nuggets because they are generally a problem for me. Let's see. Wales says the Mavs did until they traded Luka for a bad contract. Yeah, I think everybody's freaking out about. I mean, they should be. Nico Harrison made a terrible trade there. Oh, thank you. Who is that? That's the Runner. Sorry. Runner says Cleveland's a solid team. I agree completely. Cleveland is probably the team I'm thinking of because Donovan Mitchell's always a problem. So, yeah. We'll just kind of see how it goes in the playoffs. The Thunder have been having a lot of hard times with the Spurs. And, of course, Jovic is always a problem. Did I say Jovic? Jokic is a problem. Spinnaker Sailor says Knicks. They're up there, but I just don't fear them very much. I just don't trust them. Let's see. Kyle's wondering about the national championship game. You got UConn. You've got the Michigan Wolverines. Michigan absolutely crushed Arizona in a way that I did not see happening. Well, I did see it, but I did not expect that to happen. I'm going to go ahead and take the Michigan Wolverines in that one. Yeah, that's what I would do. I think UConn is just kind of overachieving. I think we would all agree with that. Hornacious says, are we talking soccer? Absolutely not. Wouldn't do that. By the way, for halftime, allegedly, I'm going to have BMAT on, and we're going to do like a video interview. Here, I'm going to show you guys what we're going to do. It's going to be like that. And then we got chat in the middle, and then I'm going to have BMAT going there. It just says guest one because he's not on right now. I was able to do that with Hoke when we did a little show for the Selection Sunday. Hopefully we'll be able to make it work for this show as well. That would be sweet. Cleveland says no love for the Atlanta Hawks. No. Sorry, man. Not my thing. Whale Driver says my son was chanting Fire Nico today. I think that people are going to be chanting that in Mavs land for a long, long time. All right, so KO gets some stuff done here, and it is now, I need to get this score updated. It is now 18-5 in favor of the Auburn Tigers. Tremendous start to this ball game, just because Tulsa has so many shooters, and you don't necessarily. I thought Tulsa would score some points. I just thought they would give up a lot of points too, but would have expected them to score 75. All right, it got everybody's favorite, bunker favorite, Blake Michalek in there. Keyshawn just says, yeah, I'm going to take this 14-footer and I'm going to drain it. 20 points now for the Auburn Tigers. 7 of 12 from the floor. They're 1 of 11. KO just forced a turnover off a DHO there just by chasing that guy going around the screen so ardently. Let's see. Feel like a stranger says Hurley is a complete psycho, but an absolute genius of coaching. See, I disagree. I think Hurley is very energetic, extremely energetic, and very outspoken, but I don't think he's a psycho. I would actually like to cover him. I think he would be. He just reminds me of the kind of coach where if, like, you know ball and you give a shit, like, you're not going to have any problems. I feel like he feasts on stupid questions and just dumminess. All right, so Tahad had a drive that I thought looked like that might have been a foul, but whatever. And then Tulsa came down. I thought they just turned the ball over, but I think they're going to say Auburn tipped the ball. And it's going to be Tulsa ball 20-5 at this second media timeout, 11:53. Auburn on an 11-1 run. Tulsa has missed 10 shots in a row. Tulsa has not had a bucket in 7 minutes and 30 seconds. It is, that's a long time. That is a really long time. Ravin says this is a best case scenario for Steven, even if it is against mid-majors, which is true. But this team, first of all, you're 100% right. It is against mid-majors. I mean, they've been beating teams that, like, whatever. Like, none of us are fired up about beating Illinois State or whatever, or even Tulsa if it ends up happening. But I don't know. It's cool. I do think that Steven turned a corner at some point in February where this is probably needs to be a column. But I feel like in the beginning of the season, Steven was just the kind of guy that's like always looking for excuses. Like anything bad that happens is somebody else's fault or just some bullshit going on, right? Like just ready to always looking for an excuse. And I feel like at some point in February, it's probably a function of that losing streak when he felt like, all the guns were out, metaphorically. I think he kind of turned a corner there. And he said, hey, man, I can't spend the rest of my season complaining about XYZ. I got to put my foot down and say, this sucks. We need to get better, and it's my job to get it done. And I honestly think he took a turn there for the better. So I think he's coaching his best right now. You could say that, of course, to JG, well, they've won 4 in a row against mid-majors. I mean, yeah, but I think he's managing the team better. I think he coaches better. I think he's not freaking out so much. And I think the kids just respond to him a little bit better. And I think this is going to help next year. Even if it's, obviously you're going to have a fair amount of turnover on this roster, but I think he'll be a better coach. I do. I really, really do. I feel like a stranger says that I didn't even mean it as a pejorative. I like Hurley. Well, if you say psycho, most people would think that you think he's like Will Wade, somebody who's just out to be a dick, And I don't feel like Hurley is. He definitely, the media, I feel like the national media frames him that way because he's just so animated. Like, to me, you think about like a true asshole is Bob Knight, in my opinion. Hurley's not like that. I feel like I've seen a lot of steps forward for Steven this season, and I'm not a big Steven guy. Like, I'm not real tight with Steven. When BP was head coach and I worked with all the assistants because BP was always off doing stuff. I mean, he's a national guy, you know. Steven would be the last guy I'd be working with. I mean, I'd be working with Ian or Burgo or Corey, or before that, Wes, Ira, Maddox, whoever, before I go to Steven. Because that's, Steven's just not somebody that, like, his personality doesn't work great with me. So I don't want you guys ever thinking that JG's out here, standing for Steven, because it's just not true. Me and him have gone at it a bunch of times. I've probably gone at it with him more than any coach I've ever covered, and I really haven't covered him that long. But I got to give him credit, man. I think he's gotten a lot better this year. I really do. And I know a lot of you guys who are not fans of the way the team has performed this year are like, yeah, I hope he got better. Good God. Well, he did. Let's see. Some great questions coming through here. This is a really good one here. Melee says, what is your opinion on how the staff sticks in there next year? Great question. Renard, my man, what's up, bro? Yeah, we're back brain draining. I'll be curious to see how that goes. I think BK getting hired is a big plus for these guys if they're looking for, hey, do I think that we can get Auburn back into like a Final Four track? I think BK is a really, really good hire. This is the GM that they hired from Louisville, who'd also been with Pat I need to move this over. This is not in the middle, is it? He'd also been with Pat at, I think, Winthrop. Before that, had just been kind of his personnel guy. And what BK does is he's the liaison with a lot of these players, a lot of agents, and he also has a great idea for what Auburn's got to spend, what these players are worth, and maybe if they get to a spot where they say, okay, Tahad with a 3 right there. Tahad with a splash. We love it. We love to see Tahad doing that. If he starts heating up from 3 and he's doing all this stuff. Oh, Sway fronting that attempted screen right there. That was a very ambitious pitch to Keyshawn, and Keyshawn screwed that up. Turn the ball over to Jovic coming down the lane, but Jovic was guarded. Let's see, staff Melee. Great question. So I think with BK coming in, I think it, to me, shows that Steven is very serious about, we're going to make this work. So I think that right there is going to keep guys here. The first guy I think would be Ira, and not because like Ira's mad or anything. I'm watching some rebounding here for the Auburn Tigers. I would just say because Ira's probably the guy that's got the most potential to either, I mean, he's already the number 1 guy here as an assistant. I think could be a head coach somewhere up northeast. So he would be the number 1 on the list. But I think Burgo and Ian, I don't know about Corey. Burgo, Ian, and Steven plus BK, I think would be the guys you would expect to be back. Gatens is a tough one for me. I don't know him well enough yet. He was a GA here, and I just kind of know him a little bit when he's a GA. Haven't talked to him too much now that he's an assistant. So I can't really judge that one too much. 24-9. I sit there and watch Tulsa score some points. I don't know why I didn't give him credit. Ranger asks, should a sport coat be paired with a hooded sweatshirt? Come on, man. I would say no. But he said it was advocated to him as a pretty cool fashion piece. By the way, Tulsa is now 0 of 7 from 3. And we thought, that's a foul. And we thought Tulsa was going to be they're generally a very good 3-point shooting team, but not tonight. That is for sure. Is absolutely for sure. I feel like a stranger's a big fan of Burgo, as I am. Burgo is kind of, I think BP used to call him the offensive coordinator, but Burgo he's just the strategy guy. He's a strategy guy, and he also knows what kind of player is needed to do this role in this offense or defense. So he's kind of like, he's going to work a lot with BK about here's the kind of player I think we should get to do this job, like at wing or whatever. And then it would be BK that would say, hey, what about the kid at Ryder? What about the kid at Siena? What about the kid at UC Irvine or blah, blah, blah. And I think that's kind of how it'll go. I think that's a lot of how it would go. 25-9 now after Hall hit that free throw. Auburn's 9 of 19 from the floor. They're 2 of 13. This is obviously not something that can keep going like this. Oh, Jovic with a nice little stick back. We'll give him one of these.
He's heating up.
Jovic is definitely heating up. If he scores more than 2 points, he's definitely heating up. Jovic, by the way, has 6 points on 3 of 5 shooting, 3 boards, 2 assists, and no turnovers. How about that? Crocky Poo loves that one. Let's see, Melee calls it a blaze hoodie. My man. By the way, was not asked to do this, but I would certainly do it. We're going to have the bunker event in Orange Beach. It's coming up. Do I have my phone with me? Does anyone know where my phone is? I'm going to click this right now. Okay, my phone is downstairs, which is not ideal, but whatever. The brain drain phone is right here next to me. So we're good there. We are having the Orange Beach event. I don't have the dates in front of me, but I'm going to get this up. That's what she said. It's 11-27, by the way. All right, 4/25/26. So 20 days from today. That was just a jumper. It's going to be 29-11 is what the score is right now. So we got the Orange Beach event. We've got it pinned atop the bunker. I will be there 100% unless I'm like dead or something. I didn't really need. Thank you. I was like, where's my phone? I wonder. I was trying to remember when the Orange Beach thing was, Cordy. The 24th, you say. Is it actually the 24th or is it the 25th? I need yeses and nos. You need to give me the finger. Okay. 25th is the Saturday. So that's what we're going to do. 425 is what Chipper says. So if you guys can make it down there, I strongly suggest that you go. We have been every single time. Chipper's got a spot down there on the inlet side of Orange Beach. So it's got water. It's got a nice dock. It's a really sweet dock, actually. He's got Bluetooth audio out there, lots of places to sit, and we eat all day, we drink all day, we talk about Auburn all day, and we just chill by the water and hang out. Tulsa shoots a 3 and misses another 3, and we got another foul on Tulsa rebounding. That must be the 3rd rebounding foul for Tulsa. They're 0 of 8 from 3. They're 2 of 15 from the floor. Courtney says they probably need to shoot better than that if they're going to win.
Yeah, but it looks pretty good.
I described you earlier as a Louisville fan, and I don't regret it. I don't regret it.
Whatever.
I don't. CTKIV. I know. Are you Mega Tiger? I know some of you guys, when we, at some point in the last year or whatever, YouTube changed everybody's handles. I don't know why they did that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
If you want to bring me bourbon, you can. And they changed everybody's handles. So I'm generally pretty good about knowing people's handles, but if I missed that one, Mega, if that is you, Mega, my bad. All right, we got K-Mag checking in. Caden Magwood, who I think will be the first player to hit the portal. Yeah, I don't think he's going to stay. I think they said on the show on ESPN last time that he was in witness protection for 2 months, which is kind of true, right? You just can't get on social media and say the things that he said about his head coach. You just can't do that. And I like K-Mag. We're both from Louisville.
You have a glass?
Hell no, I don't have a glass. I don't think I do. Do you see one? Thank you. Oh, we love a toasted peeler. There's not any in there? Wow.
All right, Your Highness. I'll be back.
Well, no, just take your time. Just whenever you come back. Huh?
Do you have water?
Yeah, probably somewhere.
Let me see.
Probably somewhere. What'd you say? Thank you. Mega, it is Mega Tiger. There he is, my man. And I feel like a stranger says, "AA, did you bring a charcuterie board?" No, I didn't. I don't think I even mentioned this, but I was a little bit late starting the show today, and here's why. My daughter's here. Her and her boyfriend, and she cooked for us tonight, and she did a great job. She made us some burritos and some esquites and some refried beans that were really good. And so that stuff came out about 4 minutes before we were supposed to go on the air, and I said, I'll definitely get in there and got to eat some of this because, she put the time in, and and it was really good, actually, like truly. So that's why I was late. Sorry, guys. It is currently 31-11. I negated Auburn a bucket because I was babbling and talking. We've been talking about lots of fun stuff. Let's see. That was a bucket from, it's 2 free throws, from KO. Feel like a stranger says AA is a hip lady. Talking about Martha Washington or AA. And Stu Pup says, I don't think the NIT is charcuterie board worthy. How about that? Crocky Poo says the witness protection refugee. I thought it was funny to hear that. That was well said. He wasn't in witness protection to me because I'm at practice. Hoke and I both are. And other people, Ferg goes and Nate goes too. And he was in practice busting his ass every single day. So, it wasn't like that kind of a deal. But he wasn't playing at all until they got into the NIT. Let's see. Hornacia says, is AA eating Olive Garden breadsticks right now? She would probably like to have those in her mouth right now, but she is not currently doing that right now. I feel like I should be able to provide you a picture of that, but I don't want to mess up the show here. Hornacia says, Days of Confused references left and right this week. Yes. Feel like a stranger just dropped one, and Love the Cats dropped one the other day when you were talking about the dude's car. I just saw that next to the sea monkeys, man. It was very well done, by the way. Here's some more money for your pocket. D-Mig says, JG, you mentioned portal stuff. Who do you think we keep? Who do we need to keep? I don't really want to distinguish between those two things, but I was mentioning earlier that Hoke and I are of the opinion currently that Sway is going to stay. We can write a song about it. Hey, she sent you up here to do it, huh? All right, man. Appreciate you. Of course. Sent Maddie's boyfriend up here. Because she was like, I'm not doing that. I'm going to drink a little bit. Might as well. It is a brain drain. We're going to drink this Toasted Peerless, which is one of my favorites. If you guys can find it. If you're in Atlanta, for sure you can find this because we saw it all over the place in Atlanta. Tougher to find in our state, in the great state of Alabama. But it's delicious. I'm a big fan of Peerless. I think if I could only pick one distillery, I think it would be Peerless. It'll be tough for me to walk away from Old Forester, but I think I would stick with Peerless. All right, D-Mate, going back. So I said Sway I think is going to stay. I did think Houston before, but now I think he's going to stay. And also Freeman, KO, and Jovic. So I think that's a good nucleus. I think Tahad ultimately will go somewhere else, somewhere bigger for more money. If someone's going to offer him like 2, I don't know that Auburn could go 2 for him. You know what I mean? Like, I think there's certain players that Auburn would go for 2 on, but it wouldn't be Tahad. He's a terrific. Just as I say that. He gets Auburn up to 34. It's actually 34-13 right now. Tulsa's getting absolutely run out of the gym. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to continue, but it means Auburn has started this game very, very well. 7:30 to go on my screen. KO is being very physical with those cutters underneath. He knocked number 14 almost on his booty earlier. Wow, Tulsa just hit a 3, and K-Mag got the foul on him, and K-Mag's looking at him going, what did I do? What did I do? Well, you fouled him. That's what you did right there. Let's see, guys. Do we think it was actually a foul? Couldn't tell from that angle. I don't understand what Tulsa's. I don't know what's up. God bless. Now that's just bad, dude. They gave up a 3, okay, and then they missed the free throw and they got a stick back. So that's a 5-point surge right there, and that's on UK Mag. Hearing sounds. I don't know what that is. All right, this is KO hits a splash. KO's been playing some great basketball in this tournament. Really was playing pretty well to close out the regular season. Now, he had a pretty slow start. He was kind of hit or miss there for the middle of the season, but he's been pretty good. I'd say on the average run right here, 3 or 4 games, he's playing really well. And looks like he played amazing in the Illinois State game. He is currently 2 of 4 for 9 points, so we'll take that. 4 for 4 at the free throw line. Let me check to see what the plus minus is looking like here. Looks like KO is leading the way with plus 19 with Keyshawn Hall, believe it or not, plus 18. KO is also leading the team in minutes at 13 right now. That means he probably hasn't come out. And Tahad's leading the scoring with 13 points, 4 of 6 shooting. Chipper says, get Magwood out. Let's see. Mega says, I can confirm that Pettiford's camp has had conversations with Todd Golden /UF. You kind of hope that Todd wouldn't be trying to pluck players before the portal opens from his best friend, Steven, but, I mean, maybe Steven knows about it. I don't know. Let's see. Feel like a stranger says, in February, I was fine with Tahad leaving, but I have thought his energy, attitude, and demeanor have been better the last few weeks. I completely agree. I would say that about, that was a nice drive by Tulsa. I'd say that about a lot of players on this team, right? I think it's been good for almost all of them. Even Sway, I thought, kind of got his feet back under him after kind of running out of gas during the regular season. I thought he was playing some other good basketball. But he hasn't been as good as Tahad. Boy, K-Mag was trying to get around that corner, wasn't he? Oh, a turnover. I didn't think that was on Auburn. Huh. So we're kind of talking about Magwood being possibly trash. I don't know. K-Mag's, he's not Tahad. Definitely. And he's not what I thought he was going to be this year. Talking about Cade Magwood, but I still like him as a long-term thing, but he's going to probably want because I think he got paid a lot of money because he's a big-time recruit coming in, and I don't think he's worth that amount of money. Hard to tell. Ooh, I think Blake turned his head and did not touch that ball. I don't think it touched Blake's face. I really don't. I think that's going to be Auburn's ball. I think it's going to be Auburn's ball. But I think Crocky said we got to play K-Mag about 5 or 6 minutes just to kind of bridge the gap, right? Without Murphy. And I realize that K-Mag and Murphy play very different positions, but it just changes the way things work. It just keeps Keyshawn Hall in the game longer, keeps Sway in the game longer, keeps Elijah in the game longer, keeps KO in the game longer. And then you can switch. You can give KO a little bit of a breather and play Tahad there. And then that's where K-Mag's got to come in because I prefer him to Blake myself. And I think many of you guys may feel the same way. I think this is AU ball. So I would be surprised if that wasn't the case. There's BP. Hamming it up as is customary. And Chuck Barkley. Two guys that I always enjoy talking to. Two guys who are pretty damn real. Like that about them for sure. Let's see. Feel like a stranger says Barnstable. What kind of name is that? It's like if your name was Car Vehicle. They have a big derby party in Louisville called the Barnstable Party, so that's the only reason it feels normal to me. Chipper wants Tart and Powell scoring multiple buckets tonight. Justin Powell's been gone for a while, my guy. I'm just teasing you. Dude, Jovic is getting so assertive. But he's also turning the ball over a little bit. D-Mix is talking about Sway. To my eyes, he's not very coordinated, not a technician, and not great defensively, but people say we need to keep him. So here's my thought on Sway. I think he just kind of hit that freshman wall a while back, and he's kind of running on fumes right now. I think he's an enforcer. I think he's tough. I think he's easy to coach. think he has a good attitude. And one of my coach friends told me one time, I can't have 12 assholes. I need some good guys too. And I think Sway's a good player. I'd really like to see him one full off season, come in 100% and just used to the grind and see what he can do for another, like his whole sophomore year. I would like to see that. I think he can play, and I think he can really help them. He's a good passer. He's a good rebounder. I think he takes a few too many 3-point shots, personally. But he's fought for that rebound right there. Auburn's going to get this rebound all because of Sway. It was a good play. Cleveland Brown jumps in with a super chat to say, how well do you think Bruce and Chuck like working together? Yeah, those are peas in a pod right there. Peas in a pod. They're both real. They both have a sense of humor about stuff. Tahad just missed a 3 really bad. Yikes. I'll give him one of these.
Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit.
The person who speaks that, his name is Gattuso. He's a Italian manager, former Italian soccer player. And he was the coach of Italy that just failed to get in the World Cup for a 3rd straight World Cup. Yikes. When I saw him out there the other night, I was like, oh, sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. Nice steal from Jovic. He goes end to end. 39-22, excuse me, is where we're at. And Jovic, I believe, has 8 now. Yeah, 8 on 4 of 6 shooting. Take that all day long. Let's go ahead and get Tulsa up to 22. Auburn's still playing some good ball right now. Tulsa really hasn't been able to muster like much at all. Let me get back to my split screen here. Tulsa 6 of 20 from the floor. The Auburn Tigers are 13 of 25. Auburn has 7 assists on 13 buckets, which you'll definitely take all day long. 6 turnovers is a little high for me. Tulsa has 7. I like to keep Auburn's turnovers under 10 if possible. I can't believe I say that because back during the Barbie days, you try to keep it under 16 or 17. But Steven's got a team here. The guys have pretty good handles. Tahad shooting over the screen. Didn't love it. I don't think Steven's going to love that one either. And Tulsa burned him on the pass break there because of I didn't like the shot. Didn't like the shot at all. Let's see. Melee says, Tulsa, I don't hate him, but that mascot needs help. Is it like the little hurricane with the white hat on? I haven't seen him. Okay, they're going to try to pressure Tahad here, which generally doesn't work very well. I thought that might have been a walk on Seb, but I missed the shot. It doesn't really matter. It's a moot point. I'm getting a little anxious here. I know it's a 15-point lead, but I feel like Tulsa's made a little bit of a push here. Boy, I just took that's a travel too, I think, for Tulsa. And a goaltend from Sway. Certainly not a lack of effort from Sway there. So 26-39. I mean, you got a 13-point lead. You're not freaking, but I feel like Auburn should be ahead by more, honestly, the way they've been playing. Or Crocky says losing steam fast. Yeah, I don't love it. I feel like a stranger says, Crocky, I'm starting to suspect our fan base doesn't know ball. In some ways, that is so true. I know because of my own experience on the board, there's probably something said almost daily about basketball where I just shake my head and go, that person's an idiot. And I bet Crocky says the same thing. And I feel like a stranger who also knows ball, Davison Tiger, who I don't think's in the chat, but is a great bunk, who definitely knows ball. Some of our ball knowers, I'm sure, are just shaking their head every single day with some bad takes, super bad takes. Just try to, get them for the humor that they are and move on. Let's see. Ravin says offensive spacing was terrible in the last 2 possessions. I did not like the way it was set up at all, particularly on when Tahad shot the 3 over the screen. I didn't like the way that the rebounding was set up, and then they got beat really bad going the other way, so that was terrible. And Crocky also said earlier that he thinks Jovic is still underrated by our fan base, which I don't necessarily think that anyone, well, the people who are the Hutters, they think he sucks because they don't know anything. And the people like the ball knowers, which is probably a lot of you guys, have seen him make incremental improvement this year. But if you look at him, the player he is now compared to the player he was like 3 games in, it is night and day with him. First of all, he doesn't turn the ball over very much like he did. And he also he knows how to take the ball from 15 feet out and do something, whether he's going to back him down or he's going to face him up a little bit. He's got a little bit of diversity to his game on the offensive end, and he boxes out really well, and he gives you a lot of effort, high effort, max effort kind of guy. I think he works really well with Sway. I think him and Sway are a really nice 1-2. Sway is a more refined player, but he also doesn't, well, like Jovic's work rate is ridiculous. It's like an 11 out of 10. Sway's is more like his 7. And so I think they kind of work well together, just my opinion. Brandon H. says lots of ball knowers on the bunker. Yeah, a lot of football knowers. We got a very smart football group, but sometimes the football guys come over and try to apply football logic to basketball, and sometimes it works and a lot of times it doesn't. So that's just my thought. Chipper says, do we think Jovic can develop any kind of mid-range shot? I don't think his shooting form's terrible. He is certainly not that guy right now. When I see him in practice, I'm always intrigued by his scoring ability in practice when he's doing drills and stuff. And I know a drill is like, Jay, who cares? But he's just smooth. You don't necessarily see that in games as much because for the longest time, he was kind of a poacher, right? Now they're actually kind of running some stuff for him a little bit. By the way, I want to give a shout out. Nobody gives a shit, but I do. We talked about this a few times. My alma mater, Transylvania University, won the Division III Girls Basketball Championship in 2023. Our coach, her name is Julie Folks. She left Transy and went to Marshall. And Marshall won the women's NIT this year. So I'm pretty fired up for that. I feel like Marshall, I feel like Julie's going to be like a SEC coach soon. I'd love it if she was at Auburn because I think she's awesome. But anyway, Julie Folks, congratulations to the Marshall girls basketball team. All right, so here we go. Got 3 minutes to go. Auburn's up 13. You'd like to see them get into halftime 15 up or more. You definitely don't want to go in under double digits, right? But I'd like to see him extend it just a little bit. Jovic is trying that roll, and instead he tried to screen. Are they going to call a foul on Jovic here? No. So it's like a pick and roll where Jovic was going to release down the key, and then as he was going, he knew he was covered, so he kind of blocked for KO to roll past him. It was kind of a cool little play there. KO got fouled on that machination, but it's kind of a cool move. I think Michigan does some of that. Can't remember if it was Illinois or Michigan that was doing that the other day. I was kind of watching, not paying 100% attention. All right, KO hits both to push Auburn up to 41. Auburn is 10 of 13 from the line. In this half. 17 rebounds to 10. So they're +7 there, and they are +7 second chance points as well. Yes. 26-41. Let's see. Chipper says the mag must sway rotation kind of messed up the flow a little bit. You still got Mashalik in there. You really did outside of Taha. Well, no, you got KO out there. Yeah, it's a pretty defensive group there. Yikes, that was a dog shit shot. I thought they were going to call another foul on Tulsa for rebounding, but they called it on Blake. I tell you what, Blake is a master of rebounding position. He's not necessarily a great rebounder, but he hustles to get in position. He will fight for it. He will absolutely fight for it. Mega Tiger, you're close, bro. You're definitely making progress. At least we get Mega Tiger in there now. Let's see. Chipper says if Jovic could get a 10-footer consistently, that would be a game changer for him. Yeah, I think that would definitely, it would add something to his game. I still think he's just kind of a super high energy guy. All right, 27 for Tulsa. They went 1 for 1 at the line there. I believe they're 9 of 12. 10 of 13 now, at the line this half. Taha doing a little spinny. Oh! That was a sweet little move right there. Was it 3 spins? Took old boy to the spin cycle. 43-27. Little kickball. Nick jumps in with a super Chad. One of these right here.
Super Chad.
He's calling for a danger zone this early in the game. I would not do that. I think Crocky Poo would be mad at me if I did that. I feel like I'd be setting them up for failure, right? We don't want to do that. Auburn fan earlier did say this isn't hut, right, JG? No, it's not. It's funny how some of the folks got all hut up. The hut guys got upset the other day. Some of them, I think, who is it that loves doing the hut thing? Who loves being a hut defender? Is it Chernobog? That was a nice shot by Tulsa. I think it's Chernobog who keeps joking about being a hutter. He's good. He knows what he's talking about. He's just kind of fucking around. That was a sweet little fall away jumper from Tulsa there. Difficult to guard. See, Tahad not getting much spacing off that DHO, or at least he thought he was going to see something else when he rolls off that. I don't like this shot from KO. I like it when it goes in, though.
Splash.
46 for the Auburn Tigers. Look at that, man. 15 of 29 from the floor, 6 of 13 from 3. KO, you can see it on your screen there, 14 points. Tahad's 5 of 9 for 15 points, too. So those are your main guys tonight right now so far. I would expect Keyshawn's going to get involved here a little bit more. And Auburn just got a rebound. You could turn this into 2 for 1, as Coach Randall likes to talk about here. If you take a little great dish. Great. I'm going to give that a dish. Great dish from Taha down to Sway right there. Really good eye. And Sway showing some great hands on a hot pass. And you see here, you can there's still opportunity for Auburn to have another possession here. And to finish this half off really, really well. We were hoping to keep it at least 13. And now they've got it up to 19. That's a nice shot by Tulsa. I don't think Auburn's going to be able to get a shot here. No, they will. Okay. I don't know. That was a specious push there from Tahad. I did not think that was going to be a foul. And it wasn't. So I guess they're going to review this and make sure there wasn't a foul, I guess. But it looked pretty wild to me. And Tahad says he realizes it's not going to be a foul. So I feel like he still had time to get a little closer. Oh, did he get hit in the nuts by the ball too? Oh, man, that's indignity right there. Oh, they're going to call it out of bounds. Damn, he almost hit that shot. All right, so 31-48 is what we're looking at here. A first half that I think everybody in this chat is going to probably feel like they'll take that one. Yeah, they'll take that one. I'm going to try to pull up a box score here. It takes me just a minute to pull this bad boy up. And also, we do have potentially BMAT jumping on here at halftime. See if I can get this box score pulled up for you guys. ASAFP. All right, let me go over there. And let me bounce over here to our box score screen. And There's our box score. And my score's not right because I didn't know what it was going to be. 48-31. All right. There we go. So some really good things going on here. Auburn shot the ball pretty well. 16 of 31 from the floor, 6 of 13 from three, two numbers that you are going to be happy with no matter what. Rebounding, Auburn is +8. You're going to be happy with that no matter what. Auburn has 8 assists and 6 turnovers. Not bothered by the assists, but just a high number of turnovers for me for a half. 6 is not, it's not absurd, but I like to keep it under 10 for the game. 5 steals to 2 in favor of Auburn. 1 of 10 from 3. I would not have expected Tulsa to do that at all. So, yeah, generally it's pretty good. Let's see. Stoop Up says, hello, blonde Tulsa cheerleader. How are you? No pictures. What an asshole. I'm just kidding. You can't do that. Let's see. Runner 24 says, good close out to the half to push it to 17. Agree completely. I was hoping for 13, and we got 17, so that's doable. Chipper says, that was adequate. Got to go -17 to not hoist a trophy in 20 minutes. I like that positive attitude. Positive mental attitude, PMA. I like it. And Stoop Up says, I wouldn't put it past this team to go -17. Don't you dare talk like that. Don't you dare talk like that. I wonder if, oh, here comes BMAT. Let's see if we can get BMAT on here. All right, let me go over to our interview box, and let me switch this to BMAT. Yeah, let's get BMAT on here. Add. Guest is in green room. Assign. Guest 1. BMAT, you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, hell yeah. Everybody can hear you. What's up, bro?
I just watched a pretty good half of basketball for Auburn. I mean, really impressed with that.
Yeah, no kidding. So they got up quickly, and then they just kind of kept pushing. And that's what everybody wants to see.
Yeah, and I was worried that Tulsa was going to make sort of a run there late, but really impressed with how Auburn kind of made a little run of themselves. I think Auburn's up by 21. I think Tulsa got it around to 12 or 13 or so. And then Auburn got back to 19, and they made that layup there late, and Auburn couldn't get a shot. But 17-point lead. I think Tulsa has 1 3-point field goal so far. So terrific perimeter defense. Auburn's bugaboo all season long. They played really good there, matching up there. I haven't seen a lot of clean looks from Tulsa for the perimeter so far. So I don't think they're getting a lot of uncontested threes. My biggest concern going into the second half is Tulsa has played 10 players. Auburn's played 8. Magwood and Musilech got a couple of rotations in there. So we'll see if that has an effect. But the other thing I'm looking at is Keyshawn Hall. He did not have a good first half, had 3 turnovers, only played 13 minutes. But we have seen him have halves like that and come back and play excellent in the second half. So I think he could be a big key for Auburn in the second half. If they need a spark offensively, a guy to drive in there, continue to get Tulsa in some foul trouble, and really carry this team as you get into under 10 minutes when maybe the other players start getting a little bit tired.
Look at that. Hornatius saying Wheezy. He's calling you Wheezy, B-Matt.
All right.
From the old days. That was from the old days when we used to talk to you when you walked up all the stairs to get back to the desk.
I just had to walk from the couch to the table, so I'm good so far. The heart rate feels good. Yeah. I have got most of my steps in today. I'm 8,600, so I got some work to do. But I'm ready to roll.
We got some work to do. I do want to give Keyshawn Hall a little bit of love here. First of all, your points were good. 4 points is not a lot, but 8 boards, which is a lot for him.
That is good, and so Auburn has hit the boards really good. 19 to 11 total rebounds, and then Auburn has 7 offensive rebounds, and that's been good. I thought Jovic, especially early, was really, really good. So impressed with him. He just has 8 points, but he's got 3 rebounds. He's got 4 assists and just 1 turnover. So he is playing great, and him, Freeman, Sebastian Williams-Adams, especially with his shooting. All 3 of those guys have really, really benefited from this NIT run, I think.
some folks were asking me earlier, who do I think will come back? And I had my own opinion about it, but you and I have not talked about that. So let me just put you on the spot. Who do you think will be back next year, BMAT?
Well, I think Jovic will be back. I hear all these rumors about Sebastian Williams-Adams, but I'm just going to go ahead and put him in the back category, but I'm not sure on that, right?
Good.
I think they really want Elijah Freeman back. I want Elijah Freeman back because I want to see what he can become in his second year playing in a power league like the SEC, right? So I know that other teams are going to throw some money at him because of his upside, his potential. So we'll see if Auburn can, match that or find a way to keep him. I don't know. I don't have an idea what Todd wants to do. I just don't. If he wants to come back and if he's not demanding too much money, I think that'd be great. Although I do feel like Auburn really wants to move to bigger guards, right? Longer guards that can defend the perimeter. That doesn't mean they can't have a Tahad in there, right? Because he can switch from 1 to 2 just fine. And especially when he's hitting threes like he is in this game, although he took one bad one there with about, 6-7 minutes left or so. But other than that, he's been really sharp, I feel like. So who else?
KO.
I think KO is probably the one that you feel most best about returning along with Jovic. What do you think, Jay?
Same. I personally think Sway is going to come back.
Okay.
And I don't think Tahad will. I think Tahad's going to get $1.5 million offer from somebody, and I think they're going to have to let him go.
Right. Well, see, to me, I'm not sure he's worth that much for Auburn because you have to look about replacement cost and what Auburn needs there. So, they've already got that big now, right? So they can put a lot of their money into the perimeter where they need the most help. If you have KO coming back, he is a longer guy on the perimeter, but he's not a great defender. He's a solid defender, I think is fair to say. So they do need to find somebody with those type skills, a 3-and-D type guy, right? And while those guys are expensive, they're not expensive, I don't think, as a rim protector or a true point guard or some other players that you might need. So I can understand why Auburn would not want to pay the full price for him.
Yeah, it's really kind of a money thing, yeah.
Yep.
Because they probably have, 12, 13, 14 million. And if you're going to give him $1.5 million or $2 million, that takes up a lot. But maybe, BMAT, if this French forward is really this kind of a, 7'1" dude that can actually put the ball in the basket, well, that's going to be very intriguing for any point guard. They're going to want to play with a guy like that. So
yes. What are those plays called when you drive down and they did it with Wendell Green all the time and Dylan? I forget what you call it, but he makes that drive and he flips it to him up in the air and just plops it in there.
Yeah, it's kind of like a little alley-oop.
But
backside alley-oop.
Yeah. They ran that play all the time when they had those two guys doing it. If they could find a guy that could do that really effectively, that's a play that I just love to see because it's just such an easy 2 points.
And since we got you here, B-Matt, thanks for giving us some time. Football.
Yes.
The first question I was asked today, do you think Golesh is the right hire for Auburn? What do you think?
I really like Golesh. I mean that, right? Because if, Brian Harsin, I think I felt really early that this was just not a good fit, right? And, when that happens and it's, 3 or 4 months into it, you're not going to come out and say that right away, but you're going to start hinting about it, right? You're going to say some things, I don't know about this, or I'm not sure. And then you freeze. I thought, okay, this guy's going to recruit. And it took me a while to figure out that, hey, he's just not going to coach the level that Auburn needs, right? That attention to details. I credit Hokanson. I think he was the first one to really start pointing that out, and he was spot on with that. But there's not one area of Alex Golesh's tenure, and it's only been, end of November to now, so 4 or 5 months, whatever that is, that I see where he is lacking in. We knew he was going to be a guy that was a coach's coach as far as, attention to details, making sure players and his assistants do everything right on and off the field, right? That was kind of the expectation. He's certainly doing that. And the area that it's really impressed me so far is the recruiting. He has got a ton of really talented players to come visit. He's lined up a ton of really talented players to come back for official visits. Now we'll see how that goes in May and June when those players come in, and then at the end of June and July when they start making those decisions. but I really, really like what I've seen so far about his recruiting wing of this. And of course, we know now it's not just about recruiting; it's about portaling, all that stuff too. So you can't really draw, a final conclusion on whether Auburn's a top, 10 recruiting class or top 15 or top 20. You just don't want to be at the very bottom of the SEC there. You need to get good high school players that can develop along with the portals. But I like everything about him so far, every single thing. Nothing negative or any concerns I have so far.
Yeah, he's a tough dude, and he holds him to a high standard, and he will chew that ass, won't he?
Yep. And,
sure will.
we can see it in practice, right? Last year, it was 2 separate practices going on. There was the
100%.
DJ jerking, and there was the offense. And now it's completely seamless. It looks the same on both sides of the ball to me.
And the kids, there's definitely more of a holistic feel to the team. Of course, it's spring. It's spring.
Yep.
But.
Yep, it is. And I think we also have to be cautious in getting too hyped because we're talking about a team that's gone through 5 consecutive losing seasons, had to roll the roster, has 60 newcomers. I like Byron Brown. I'm excited about him, but, let's just, wait and see how that develops.
Yeah, fair enough, BMAT. All right, brother. Let's get back to this second half, my man. Looking forward to your sidebar. And, of course, we got Monday Musings in the morning, too.
I do. I still got a lot to work to do tonight because Monday Musings is going to be about what happens in this game after I write my story. So, yep, rolling it out.
All right, brother.
Take it easy.
Appreciate you. See you, man.
Bye.
There he is, BMAT. We always love him coming on. And we got to go back to the box. My bad. We got to go back to the box here. I always appreciate him coming on. And, golly, I've known him so long, and he's been with us here at Auburn Sports for a long, long time. So, just an absolute stud. Thanks to y'all for hanging out, watching us babble about the team and the football team a little bit. And I know he's pretty fired up about just kind of, I know it's the spring and no one's going to actually play for anything meaningful here, but we like the way that Golesh has gone about. There was an interesting insight about the team practice, the way it was kind of 2 practices before, which is true. And I hadn't really thought about how it's a lot more streamlined now, where they're kind of all mixed in and matched in and kind of going at the same speed. And there's a similar enthusiasm on both sides of the ball now. They're kind of more intertwined. It's kind of hard to explain that they're closer together. It used to be literally like defense over here, offense over here, and there's still some of that, but the defensive backs are, I don't know, they're in a different spot now, and they practice closer to the offense. It doesn't feel like 2 different teams, and that was a really good insight from BMAT. I hadn't thought about it that way. So there you go. Let's see. Vin B jumps in to say recruiting is going well. Coach Pink says he's impressed with practice intensity and focus. I am too. And love having Coach Pink, who's, of course, on our team here at Auburn Sports. I was texting with him just today. One of my friends saw him at Easter service today. So that was pretty cool. And he's killing me on Twitter with these videos he's been posting of him cooking up some big steaks and meat and stuff. He needs to come to my house and do some of that. Definitely, for sure. But anyway, love that. Let's see. Vin Beast's prediction: defense is going to be so dominant that do the Dirk dance craze will sweep the nation. I could see that, man. And Hornatius wants to know how much nanner pudding did Wheezy eat today. Poor B-Matt. Him and Yvonne do make some amazing nanner pudding. I think Yvonne's really the kind of genius behind that, but the Matthews do a great job when they do make it. And Spinnaker Sailor, a.k.a. Ravin, says, you had me at meats. I don't know if you guys have seen that on Twitter, but yeah, Cole does a great job. I have not had his food, so I can't judge it directly, but he looks like he knows what he's doing. No doubt about it. Runner 24 says, I thought I saw some low energy practices. Did I misread that, or was that a thing? So I didn't see them. It was Golesh, whose opinion I trust on these matters, said that there were a couple there early on that he thought were kind of low energy. Yeah, that would have been like before pro day. So it had been practice 3, I think. He wasn't very happy with. I haven't heard him. He hasn't complained lately. And I think the practice on Tuesday is going to be number 9, I think. So it hasn't been any lately. But I'm so weird. When I go out there, I think I look at different things maybe than like Pink does, because Pink played the game. He played college football and he coached high school football, and he looks at different things than I do. But the guys that really stick out to me would be, like, for me, it's Juice, Deese, the outside linebacker. He's an animal. I mean, Xavier's an All-American, but I really think the Juice can be either like right at that level. He's insane. He's a really, really good player. I love what Deshaun Womack's been doing, and I know we're talking about football and a basketball brain, but they're at halftime. I love what Deshaun Womack is bringing. I think you got to do that. I think you got to have guys like that. I think having Chris Murray back is going to be huge, that they weren't expecting him to get another season, but he was, but they weren't. And they're stoked to have him back, and he's a pretty productive player. And he's got another year of development, so he's going to be even better, you think, this coming year. The cornerback from UCLA has been balling. I haven't personally seen him, but the guys that I know have been talking about him. And one guy I really like that no one's going to say a word about because you're not going to hear about him is Tristan Tia, the backup quarterback they picked up from Oregon State. It's not like he's going to take Byron Brown's job, but I like him. He looks good to me. He looks like a good football player. So just something to kind of tuck away and think about later on. All right, second half is now way as the Auburn Tigers go in 17 up. And they're going to go the other direction this half. Cleveland Brown jumps in with his third super chat of the day. I appreciate you. The two words I haven't heard from Golesh yet is "we're close." No, I think he's tuned. Tahad shooting over a screen from about 24 feet. Don't love it. He does hit some of those, to be fair. I think Golesh knows the bullshit that you guys have been fed. I mean, I really do think he thinks that way a little bit. And I think he knows the BS you guys have been fed, and he doesn't want to feed it to you anymore. So you won't be hearing about how close somebody is or how close the team is. I don't think you'll hear that. I think you'll hear something else. That was really well defended, I think, by Jovic. They were trying to run a pick-and-roll roller there to get a three, and then Jovic just stuck with the roller. Unfortunately, their second tier, after the offensive rebound was secured, Auburn's defense sucked. So Tulsa got another bucket there, 33-48. Tulsa extending really, really far out. Look at Jovic. That is not a play he would not have. I talked about earlier. The difference between him now and maybe the third game, there's no way he would have tried that the third game of the season, but he did it right there. About the third or fourth opportunity, he finally went up with it strong and got the bucket, 50-33 now. A little turnaround 8-footer for Tulsa there, get up to 35. So Tulsa scored on 2 possessions now of the second half. Auburn is 1 of 2. Auburn's percentages are still very good. We got a splash from Key Hall right there. A little 3-point action. You love to see it. Auburn's percentages are still very good. 53 overall, 47% from 3. So those are just, winning numbers for Auburn at this point. And Auburn gets an uncontested defensive rebound there for Key Hall. He's at 9 rebounds now. So he's 3 points and 1 rebound away from a dub-dub. Jovic is thinking he might drive there. Now he backs it out to KO. 3 passes from KO to Jovic. Look at him. He's eating. He's eating. I wish I still had the Pac-Man thing on here, but I don't. I bet I can find it, though. Chip loves to see that. He absolutely loves it. Where's the Pac-Man sound, JG? Whatever. Auburn just got a steal. And then Keyshawn Hall goes for a 3 and airballs it. Totally unnecessary, but whatever. Step back 3 for Tahad. Missed it. I think Jovic should have had that rebound, but he didn't. Auburn up 20. Tulsa's going to have to do some serious work to get back in this game. It's going to take more than that. Tahad kind of doing a help side defense on the drive there and just kind of swatted at it. Got a foul there. Where's that Pac-Man sound, dadgummit? There it is, Pac-Man. We usually use that in football for like, a 6-7 yard gain where you're just kind of grinding it out. But sometimes in basketball, I feel like it's appropriate too. You just get a nice little 2-point bucket, stymie a little run or something like that. Just a little Pac-Man eating pellets. I don't know. It's not a big play in the grand scheme of things, but it can hurt the other team. It's kind of death by 1,000 cuts. You know what I mean? What's up, Brandon? Jay's in the house. This is War Eagle. Hey, he's pretty fired up right there. Yeah, Steven's like, guys, you got to come out to Jovic. Thought that was going to be a turnover on Jovic, but he got fouled. Tulsa's getting a little frustrated right now. That's like a ball screen with Jovic, and I don't understand. I don't feel like enough people are coming around him, and he's like kind of stuck out there. He's kind of floating by himself on an island, and Steven's just going, guys, what are we doing? Little shot from KO. I think he was under a shot clock problem there, shot clock pressure. Well, Auburn is really getting super aggressive on. They're working gaps right now. That's not a good closeout from Elijah at all. Just slow getting over to that 3, and Tulsa hit a 3. Just slow on that a little bit. I'm not sure what all went into him being so far behind on that. He's not a lazy player, so I'm not sure what happened there. Great rebound from Jovic. Just couldn't quite get his hands on it. And it's going to be Auburn's possession there. Melee says, can we dip Steven's stool in bronze as the trophy? Why wouldn't we dip it in gold, my man? Going to the first media timeout, 55-39 with Auburn out of bounds underneath. I don't know what the shot clock's going to be at, but I don't think they're under a lot of pressure on that one. Auburn's generally pretty good out of bounds underneath, although that's maybe more of a BP thing. I don't know. I don't know what kind of numbers they've done. Since Crocky Pool get a kick out of this, I used to pay $69.95 a month for Synergy, and it went up to like $3,200 a month. I showed it to Hoke the other day. It was really funny. He goes, what the hell? I go, I don't know. They're just weirdos, man. I don't know how you could charge somebody like multiple thousands of dollars. Like, come on now. Let's see if I can find that. Crocky Poo would get a kick out of that. Vin Barnes says, no, nobody wants a golden turd. It's not with Ted. Oh, here we go. Crocky, you're going to like this one. Here's the actual email I got from them. $29.25 per month. 12-month minimum. Guys, it went from $65 to $2,900 a month. Yeah, it's not going to. I'm not able to handle that. Pocket said, I had Synergy as well. Still disappointed you turned down my offer to go halvesies on it. It was only going to be, what, $1,300 a month? Golly, I can't believe that. I mean, there's just no way in hell I could pay that. It's 12-month minimum, too, right? Maybe I could, like, squeeze it out for a few months or whatever, but golly. The only way I could ever get that is to borrow a password, but I think they get real tight about that. Excuse me. They get tight about that. Crocky says there used to be a YouTube video that posted the Synergy stats of Portal Guys, and it got copyrighted this year. Oh, so sorry for those people. Hey, Ned. Runner 24 says $2,900 a month plus times 12 is a lot of super chats. It is. That is a lot of super chats, my man. I don't get quite that many. I wish there was a way I could get that out, but Vin B says, squeeze it out. Are we still talking about SP's stool? Yaxel and Solo Ball, who is not related to the other balls, like Lonzo Ball. I looked this up like a week ago. Yeah, Melee says $2,900 per month is in bourbon budget territory. By the way, I am drinking this, just sipping on it a little bit, Toasted Peerless. I enjoy the Peerless quite a bit. And by the way, I think damn near everybody in this chat is somebody I know from the bunker, but if you guys are not part of Auburn Sports, I mean, guys, come on. It's time. If there's a few people watching that aren't subscribers yet, it is an amazing website. We have 2 fully formed, functional, great message boards, one called The Corner, one called The Bunker. The Bunker's a little more, maybe we have more renegades over where we're at, but the Corner also has some really thoughtful Auburn folks, and it's definitely 2 places that have different feels, and we have 6 reporters and a great photographer, and it's just a great place to come and hang out and learn about Auburn, talk about Auburn. So if you're not a subscriber, I strongly, strongly recommend you do that at Auburn Sports. And the website is auburnsports.com, of course. Sway with a little bucket right there. Oh, or was it a KO? My bad. Trying to call that off? No, they're not going to call that off. They can try to call it off, but I'm putting it on the board. Yeah, he got that off in time. Definitely. That's a good find from K-Mag underneath, too. Good stuff. Let's see. Chipper says, what's with this rotation? Auburn's got Tahad, KO, Elijah, Keyshawn, and Jovic in there. So that's a pretty normal group here. Right? That's what I'm showing anyway. No, you definitely got K-Mag in there. Sorry, guys. I need to get this up. You got K-Mag, Elijah, K-Hall, and Sway. That's okay. Boy, Elijah got pushed back a little bit there. I'd like to see him be a little tougher when he knows he's got the boundary as like a second defender for him to his right. I thought he should have tightened up or toughened up there. Vin B says, Magwood returning. I mean, my guess is absolutely not. But, I mean, we don't know for sure until the portal opens. I mean, I would think that he's pretty... I mean, he didn't sulk or anything. He was busting his ass in practice, and I was really impressed with him, actually, in January and February after he got in trouble for what he said on social media. I thought he was busting his ass in practice, doing a great job. And so I'm not surprised that he was able to get right back in the lineup for the NIT and play it. You know, he's been okay. He had a really good first game, and then since then it's just kind of been okay. I think defensively he has some work to do, and then offensively it's probably more of a function of confidence. And you know, he's working in a rotation right now with Tahad and Key Hall and Elijah that have been everybody's kind of got their roles, you know, so it's tough to kind of jump in there and be a big scorer. But I'd like to see him be a little bit better defensively. But you know, he lost out missing 20 games or whatever, so. My guess is that he leaves and he goes somewhere else, somewhere like Creighton or, you know, a school like that size. I mean, he could go to Louisville, maybe be like I don't think so, but he could be like a, you know, second string guy there. I personally don't think that he would be ready to go somewhere big and be a starter, but you never know. All right, so Tulsa just got an and one. And they tightened it up a little bit, 13 points, and they're going to be going to the line. So this is not awesome. Feel like a stranger says, we don't seem as focused. And Brandon H says, accidentally clicked on the corner today. 4 fouls on K-Hall. That's what we're seeing. Let's see. Can I confirm? I can confirm, yes. He has 7 points and 9 boards and 4 fouls. He's among team leaders in plus minus. He's plus 13 in 19 minutes. Actually, Tahad and KO are leading. They're 14, plus 14. All right, 45-57. This is as close as it's been lately. I think Auburn, let's see, they're going to take a timeout. No, it's going to be a turnover. I'm sorry. I was just trying to put some of these things together. Yes, K. Magwood with the turnover. Golly. Runner 24 says, would not be the first Auburn guy to have a nice career at Creighton. Yeah, I asked, apparently he's probably talking about Trey Alexander, getting out of his signed papers to Auburn to go to Creighton maybe 3 or 4 years ago. Whoa, we can't do that, my man. Oh, you cannot. Yeah, I was going to say, you can't call that on Sway. Trey Alexander is boys with KO. They both went to high school in Oklahoma City, although on different sides of the city. And when I asked about it, he was like, yeah, Trey's my boy, blah, blah, blah. He just said that Trey left and went to Creighton because he felt like his playing time was going to be messed up, which is what we figured he would say. Alpha says, Stevens boys acting like a bunch of swoogans. We're about to blow this thing. Whoa, hold on, Alpha. We're a little far from that just now. We just got another turnover from Jovic, though. Another travel. I think it's a second of the game. Yucky. Let's see. Brandon J jumps in to say K-Hall defense is trash. Okay. That's what everybody's got to be. It's either got to be great or trash. Like nobody can just be an okay defender, maybe a little bit below average. A little hook there from Tulsa, hook shot, I should say, and they're up to. It's down to 10 points, guys. It was well. They definitely don't have 457. That would be a problem. Jovic going to back him down. Uh-oh. Oh! That was a nice block from Tulsa. I give him credit for that. They're on the break. Nice dish. And they stick it in on the break, guys. Down to 8 points. The Golden Hurricane fans are freaking the F out. They're pretty fired up, and it looks like Steven's going to call a timeout. They have not, let's see, they have not been within single digits in a while. The last time it was single digits was 15-18 of the first half. And most of that rest of that first half was like 15-20. So it's definitely kind of a quick slide down for the Auburn Tigers. Crocky Poos is not good, not good. Let me see what the numbers are for this half. 2 halves. Auburn is 4 of 12 from the floor this half. They are 7 of 9. Yeah, that'll do it. And Auburn has not shot a free throw. They're 3 of 5. Rebounding is 7-4. Tulsa's advantage. Auburn has 2 turnovers. They have 2 turnovers. So it's really just a function of Auburn not putting the ball in the basket, and Tulsa's on a 10-0 run right now, including a 14-2. And I think Auburn's, I'm thinking about it now, Auburn's shot selection isn't trash right now. It's not amazing, but it's not awful. But defensively, yeah, I feel like a stranger says unfocused and sloppy. Definitely has resulted in some Tulsa points, particularly that last fast break was just too easy. Let's see. Auburn Fanatics says, just started watching again. We were dominating? Yeah, Auburn was up, 15-20 for most of the first half and got it up. I think they were 19 early in this half, but yeah, disappeared quickly. Let's see. I feel like a stranger says we needed a timeout 90 seconds earlier, to which Melee said, I know, and I thought it was a fault of Bruce, meaning we all thought Bruce was a little slow or a little reluctant, I guess might be the right word, to call timeouts to break runs. I didn't feel like he was particularly aggressive in that ever. Just kind of would let the guys work it out. But sometimes I think that's a great idea, and sometimes I don't. That's how I feel about it. Melee asks, did Daniel Moore have a series of paintings of Bear Bryant on a stool? Oh, you guys, man. Why didn't you tell me that my graphics are messed up? What is the deal here, Jay? What are you doing? What are we even doing, Jay? Sometimes I'm doing stuff with the graphics and it like messes up other parts of the show, and it's just freaking dumb. A lot of people, you don't know this because it's a secret, but a lot of times these other guys, they have people running their shows for them, right? Like they'll have a whole nother person remotely. Like when Jay Lee does a show, he's got a guy, Zach in the back, who runs the show for him. Not JG. JG runs his own show, which generally works to my, generally messes up, because anything that gets messed up, I got to figure out while I'm talking. Oh, well, it happens sometimes. Alpha Tiger says Culver's commercial on ESPN during the game, making the bunker folks feel at home. Yeah, we've got the new Culver pop-up or whatever. That's, people say it takes up the whole screen. Like on my phone here, I can probably pull it up right here because I'll certainly get the Culver's thing. Let me get in a thread here. Huh? I didn't get it. It didn't serve me on this one. Let's see if it'll hit me again. I definitely got it earlier in the day. Oh, it's just backing off of me now. I'll try a little bit later. But yeah, Alpha, it was kind of annoying, but it definitely didn't take up half the screen. It took up like 10%. But it was in the top part, which was kind of bugging me. All right, so Auburn did not score on that last possession. Tulsa's going to take a 3, and they're not going to hit it. Nice rebound from Elijah. Todd's going to force the issue on the break and just completely lose the ball. Tulsa on the drive on the break, and then Philip Jovic gets the foul. Crocky says we need someone to step up in a big, bad way. Completely agree. Somebody's got to get some buckets. Felix Stranger says he's a big proponent of letting guys play through instead of automatic timeouts, but this team has shown all year that they are below average in playing through this stuff and figuring it out. Yeah, this team's probably not. Like last year's team, you could have let them go a little bit longer. Because Janai would kind of settle it out, you know. But I don't really know who would settle it out now. 57-50 is where we're at right now. As Tulsa's run continues, and they're at 51 now. Let me get back to the main screen here. And it's a 16-2 run right now for the Tulsa Golden Hurricane. All right, so Dahad was going head down. I'm just going to drive this ball, and whatever happens, happens. And he got to the rim and couldn't finish, but he did get the foul. I think Brandon was asking about why does Dahad look like he forgets how to play at times. I think he just gets a little riled up sometimes. But I think he's always coming from a place of, and as a coach, you kind of have to respect this, like a place of ownership where he's like, this is my ball club and I got to do something. But sometimes the things that he does actually don't help. They hurt. But I feel like he's been better about it in the last 20 games. Early in the year, he was bad about that particular issue. But he'll also give you a 25-point game, you know what I mean? Tulsa just hit a 3 to get him to 54. I don't like the way this is trending right here, boys. I don't at all. All right, so you got Dahad, KO, Elijah, Sway, and Jovic out there, which is probably like at this point, without Hall, mostly number 1 guys. Hall's got 4 fouls, so he's not going to be playing right now. KO with a nice drive, but just not a great shot. Like he got in decent position, but God, Tulsa just hit a really tough 3. It was defended very well. 2-point game. They're on an 18-2 run right now. Steven's like, this is not great. Whatever. This is what Burgo wants to do. So Phillip got pickpocketed there on a back down, and what is this Tulsa guy going to act like he's going to fight? Like, what are you doing, bro? Did you think that was a dirty foul? Big baby. I forgot about how this has some extra juice in it because KO's from Oklahoma City. I think maybe some of these Tulsa guys he played with. I don't know. I didn't ask him. I should have. Whale Driver says tie game. I'd like to know how this works. It's 59-57 and they're in a timeout. How is it a tie game? T-Roy says 0 ball movement in our offensive sets right now. You're right. It's just a bunch of high screens and not really anything meaningful going on below that. And so you just end up having to drive into like the abyss. It seems like what's going on right now. Now Auburn was up 19, I believe, at the peak. No, Auburn's largest lead actually was 21. At the 7:45 mark, it was 34-13 at that point. And now the Auburn Tigers are they're in a dogfight. Let's be honest about it. Chip says Auburn quit, which I do not think they've quit. They're just not playing well right now. Definitely got to get settled down. They are the kind of team that gets a little bit off track sometimes and mentally get a little panicky. I do not think it's a function of quitting at all. Whale Driver thinks whatever Steven told him in the timeout did not help. The offense is just pathetic. Yeah, it's been bad. It's not like the defense has been great either. So it's just kind of been, to me, a fall away in all aspects. And they just got to put their foot down and get it straightened back out. This reminds me of a game. What game was it where they... It was the Mississippi State game at Mississippi State where they were down. Well, I guess it was a little bit different. They were down big because Josh Hubbard went off, and then they got back into the lead, and then they coughed it up again. And I remember thinking I think they got back up 8, and then it started to come back down. I said, well, they're going to put their foot down just like they did before, and they just never did. I think the Oklahoma game was like that too, right? Where you kept thinking they were going to put their foot down, and they just never did. Christopher B says, hard to imagine a more fitting conclusion to this season than a complete second half meltdown. Texas A&M, Whale Driver, good one. That was another one. And that's the reason the Auburn Tigers only have whatever it is, 21 wins right now, is because they had a lot of games where they just couldn't hold a lead. And just, yeah, they don't perform in a relatively steady way. They just all up and down. And right now, I mean, earlier in the game, they were 100% up. It's almost like manic depressive, right? They were kind of manic earlier and just playing off their ass, and now they're just completely slowed down, like they're in quicksand. Hornation says, what odds would you put on us losing this one? To me, right now, I would put this at about 75% Auburn's going to lose this game because I don't trust this team to put their foot down, you know? I don't stop acting like you're going to get up and do something, you fake tough guy. What are you going to do? Shut your ass. You big baby. That's the wrong guy to fight, too. Overton, I'm not saying he's the toughest guy around, but he ain't going to be intimidated. Looks like they did give him a... yeah, it's just a common foul. And he did hit the 2 free throws, so that is going to be all square. It's tough without Keyshawn Hall out there. I mean, it's early to get that 4th foul. It was a tough one. All right, so Tulsa gets the ball out of bounds underneath for an opportunity to go up. Auburn led by 21 in this game at one point, and now they're at risk of going behind. Now, to those who don't watch the team a lot, they say, hey, Auburn's got a pretty good offense, and you're right about that. But, man, right now it's not looking real good. I don't love that foul call against Jovich. Let's see. Lucifer says, please don't mic up Steven and have us listen to one of his cringe rants. Oh, man. So is that 4 on Jovic? Yeah, sure is. Keyshawn's having to come back in. He's going to have to come back in. Somebody's got to play that spot. So Jovic and Hall both with 4. I think Hall can play with 4 better than Jovic can play with 4. I mean, Hall, I don't think just backing away from contact is going to be a problem for Hall. He's willing to let people go by if they need to, right, guys? Jovic is always just like playing for blood. 22-2 run. Good golly. The games all kind of run together for me because, I don't know, I just don't do a good job of parsing them out. But there's been games like this where Auburn's, whoa, oh, shit. That was like a suplex right there by Sway. Wow, that was a very physical rebound there. Wow, I want to see a replay of that. Boy, Sway looks like he's just beside himself. He's like, how can you call that on me? I'm like, dude, he slammed him. Well, who was it? I think Chipper was kind of like, it's going to have to take a minus 17 to not hoist the trophy. And I wouldn't put it past his team. That was a really bad free throw from Tulsa, to be fair. Okay, so Keyshawn's in there now, Keyshawn Hall, with 4 fouls with 10 minutes to go. So that's not generally a great idea. But he's just going to have to be smart about it. Listen, dude, it's his last college game. He's played a million games. He's going to have to know how to just make it happen. Solo Tigre, what's up, brother? He says, Ms. Tigre was gone during the first half and got home during halftime. I'm about to tell her to go kick rocks for a little while. And D Lucky is in the house, my man. Says, what offense? Not much of that going on right now for the Auburn Tigers anyway. And Sway nips the bleeding with a bucket there to get it to 61-61, which I had not updated correctly because I've been into this game so much. Tulsa with a 3. Ouch. 64-61. Still a 13-2 run for Tulsa right now. Sway's bucket there on the last possession was the only break in the Tulsa destruction. Todd just trying to do too much right now. Yeah, if you're thinking about, who was it that said about, RD Blacks is threes will drop for the next 9 minutes, just meaning that Tulsa was so far behind on their 3-point shooting. I mean, they're still 5 of 17, which is way off their numbers. Keyshawn Hall with the turnover there, got the ball too high and just Tulsa taking the 3 there to try to get up to 6, but couldn't get it. Elijah got the rebound. I just think the Hodge trying to do too much here. Yeah, he's taking a shot. I don't love that shot. That's just not a 3 he hits a lot when he's shooting over the screen. I don't love it. Yeah, Crocky Poo says Todd's forcing it so much right now. You're so right. Just trying to do too much. Tulsa trying to get a 3 to put them away and just can't get one to go down. Keyshawn's doing a good job of rebounding. He's up to 11 now on boards, which is great for him. I wish Keyshawn Hall had a few more fouls. All right, so that was a really nice little Euro step, Keyshawn Hall type little move. I don't know what you call that. He's kind of lunging and pushing and shimmying and just kind of doing the things that Keyshawn does around the basket. He's a real magician, honestly, when it comes to this stuff like that. 64-63 is where we're at. Auburn's 2 of 11, but it's the last 2, and then we got a foul and a daggone 3-point shot. Second time tonight, Auburn's fouled on a 3-point attempt. I think that was Sway over there on that one. Fouls on Pettiford. He's only got 2. All right, so looking at the second half, Auburn is 6 of 20 from the floor, so that's 30. And they are 10 of 15, so that's 67%. A little bit of difference there. A little bit of a difference there. Rebounding is 11-9 in favor of Tulsa. 2 turnovers for Tulsa and 4 for the Auburn Tigers. So it's really just a factor of, you're shooting 17% and they're shooting 50, which is almost exactly the opposite of what we saw in the first half, right? Where Auburn was on fire and Tulsa couldn't hit a thing. So, and a lot of times you'll hear coaches in this situation go, well, we just couldn't get the shots to go. But I don't think the quality of Auburn's shots is really good right now. Yeah. I don't like the quality of the shots for Auburn right now. And I do like the quality of the Tulsa shots for the most part. But I think it's good, at least in the short term, that Auburn's been able to stop the bleeding a little bit here because, Tulsa was on that massive run, and now Auburn's been able to kind of put their foot down a little bit here. And I'm not saying they're going to win the game, but they got three free throws coming up for Tulsa. But let's see, Travis J, my man. He says, Jabba, it's hard, Jay. We just can't have anything nice, my man. Give you some applause because Travis J, he's suffering through it just like the rest of us, man. And appreciate you, bro. I know Travis, he just loves Auburn. He loves Auburn. He loves to see Auburn win. And I know he's starved on the football side. We're glad to have him over here with the basketball side as well. Cleveland jumps in with another super chat. Appreciate you, bro. I think that's 4 today. Says this kind of play is why we don't deserve nice things. There's some truth to that. I can't imagine what the Hut guys are going to say if Auburn can't beat Tulsa in the NIT. They're going to freak out, aren't they? And we all know that Tulsa's a very good mid-major team and that Auburn is just, Auburn is not what it was last year. And whoever's fault that is, whoever's fault that is. But, it's not like Tulsa sucks. They're a 30-win team. They're a good ball club. Let's see. Artie Black, who is speaking my language here, says Pettiford needs to be more of an organizer rather than a person looking to score, not above a 30% shooter. Now, he can be that guy. He can be a scorer at times, but I feel like I'm with you. I think he's better when he's an administrator is the word that I use, but organizer is also fair. And I just don't know that he's been that guy tonight. He started off that way, but it seems like this half, he's been trying to just be the, the do everything scorer. Travis J said, I've written the game off and thought we won already. Yeah, I think there were some folks in our chat that thought the same thing, bro. But there's also some folks in our chat who have seen all measure of freakouts this year of Auburn just finding ways to lose. And I'm not saying they're going to lose this game. I don't know. I gave them a 75% chance of losing this game earlier, and I will stick by that. But let's just hope that this last game of the season, they could find a way to just finally pull one out, that looked like it was going to be a loss. All right, so they hit all 3 right there, and it's going to be 67-63. I think if Auburn gets down 6, that's probably the number that I don't think they can come back from mentally. So you got 4 right now, which means you need to stay, you've got to get a bucket here one way or another, whether it's a free throw or you just got to get some points on this possession. I don't like that shot from KO at all. It's a good example of a poor quality shot there. I don't like it. It's kind of early in the shot clock. It's like he's halfway off a screen, but he's like at 18 feet and his feet aren't set, and I just don't like it. I don't like it. Cleveland Brown jumps in again to say the transition from Bruce to Steven will always be a head scratcher to me, regardless of tonight's outcome. Your thoughts? The transition? No, it's not really a head scratcher. Steven wasn't really ready, but we kind of knew he wasn't ready. And it took him a little bit longer maybe than I would have thought to get going. But at the same time, he should have been doing this at Marshall or Georgia State. Oh, great dish. That was a great dish right there. Great dish from K Hall to Sway there for a bucket. Auburn's definitely picked up a little bit here. Now, they had to concede, 17 points in a row or something, but looks like they're playing better, smarter basketball on the scoring end, particularly with K Hall in there. He's had a good effect. Oh, Elijah's ready here. He's ready to play some D. But he missed it. And then they missed it. That was a big miss for Tulsa, honestly. If Auburn can get a bucket on this possession where they're down 2, I think this could be like the turning point for them to kind of get their confidence back. K Hall really wants this ball right now. He wants this play run for him. He thinks he can beat this dude, number 9. Number 9's fronting him. I don't think Auburn is good at. Oh, they're going to call Keyshawn Hall for a. Is it going to be on Hall? No, they're going to call it on Pettiford. I saw Hall coming out as a cutter, and I figured it was going to be him, but it's actually on Pettiford. I've just seen that foul again. Yeah, Crocky, they didn't show a replay of that particular call, did they? Of that offensive foul on Pettiford right there. I didn't get a chance to see it. It was a good closeout from KO on that 3-point. He couldn't take it. Another good closeout there from KO. Good verticality right there on the challenge, so no problem, no foul there. K Hall dish to Elijah. Needed to get one there. So Cleveland Brown, and it wasn't really a head scratcher for me as far as the transition from Steven to BP. He just wished that Steven had been coaching somewhere else for a little while and had an opportunity to kind of make those mistakes. Do you know what I mean? And kind of understand his voice as a head coach and the things, because he's not just like a carbon copy of BP at all. He's a different coach totally. And I just wish he'd have had some time somewhere else to kind of make those mistakes and kind of hone his craft a little bit. But I do think he's on his way now. I used to Jay, I only asked because I feel like we should have done due diligence and vet other coaches rather than hand off to Steven. But this is the way BP wanted it. I promise you, this is a BP. This is the way BP wanted it. And honestly, I think if you're John Cohen, I think you just kind of have to go with what BP wants to do here. I know it's frustrating to some people. I understand why, but I think you owe it to BP. I think you do. Now, Tulsa's cooled off a little bit from three-point range, which is a very big benefit to the Auburn Tigers. And I would argue that they've just kind of gone cold in general. I don't know how many they've missed in a row. They're on a almost 3-minute scoring drought right now. Hit that to Hod. He did not hit it. Let's see what Auburn's three-point shooting is this half. It's not good. I know that. 1 of 7 for Auburn this half, 4 of 9 for them, but I swear they were like 3 of 3 or 4 of 4 at one point. Auburn's shooting percentage is still bad for this half. You think it would pick up a little bit. Tulsa will not stay cold forever, though. Elijah Freeman is getting some freaking rebounds right now. These are clutch. Keyshawn Hall's going to get either a foul or a bucket here. Hit that KO. Splash.
Splash.
All right, KO with a nice look. Honestly, Keyshawn Hall passed it out to Hod, who tapped it right over to KO, and KO was able to splash in a 3. So that's a big bucket right there to get Auburn back ahead. Tulsa's had some opportunities to put this game away, and they have not done it or have not been able to do it. And we go to our last media timeout. Oh, no, I take it back. It says media timeout. We're 4:15. Did we miss the 8 o'clock or the 8-minute? I don't know. Let's see what we got here. RD says, love Overton. He has bailed Auburn out of a bunch of bad situations here in the last month or so. Now, prior to that, he wasn't what I thought he was. You know what I mean? I thought he was going to be better. But he's made up for it for me anyway in the last month. He's been playing some good basketball. And he's been playing decently tonight. 19 points on 5 of 11 shooting. I'll take it. Auburn's got 2 guys with double-digit rebounds. Elijah has 11 now. Keyshawn has 12. So that's big. Elijah only has 3 points, but he's 1 of 3, so it's not like he's been used a lot. And Auburn's on a 6-0 run right now. Tulsa's in a 3-minute scoring drought. Actually, 3.5. See, Brandon H says we look like KD out there hacking up bad threes. Yeah, you're right about that. It does have some KD looks to it. And I think KD was doing it, again, because I thought he kind of felt ownership in a way because he'd been here for a while. But there's, a bad shot's a bad shot. Unless Michael Jordan or Shea Gilgeous-Alexander or Kevin Durant's taking it, a bad shot's a bad shot. I guess Steph Curry would count there too, huh? Which is where this whole thing comes from right here. That was the sound Ian Eagle made when Steph Curry hit the 3 to put the game away in the gold medal game. When you did that heat check over Batum with with LeBron James waving his hands and KD wide open. I mean, the ultimate heat check in the history of the game. He says, no, I'm going to take a fall away from 30 feet over 2 guys instead of throwing it to a Hall of Famer or a Hall of Famer and hit it and put the game away, which is amazing. I was showing my daughter cut-ups from that game last night because she didn't watch it. She's not a big sports person. And she was like, oh, my God, that was amazing. Yeah, it really was. Really was. It was really something to see. All right, what do we got? Indianapolis Final Four weekend. Hey, at least the NIT got billing over Division II and Division III championship games. That's great. And then we've got the national championship game tomorrow between UConn and the hated Michigan Wolverines. I'm taking Michigan in that game, by the way. I don't think that's a crazy hot take there. On the Auburn tip, we've got football on Tuesday and Thursday. And on the personal tip, I'm going to be in Buckhead on Wednesday at the Steel Panther show. So going to see them for the 7th time. Seeing them play their great songs like Glory Hole, Gang Bang at the Old Folks Home, It Won't Suck Itself, Poontang Boomerang. Hope to see some of you guys there. Here we go. 4 minutes to go. Auburn up 2. In a game that Auburn led by 21 earlier. And Tulsa gets a bucket to equalize. Iron Eagle was a great anti-commie flick. I like that. That's good. I think that's a foul, by the way, on Tulsa. That's actually 2 fouls, I think, on Tulsa on K. Hall's drive. But they called neither. And then Tulsa goes down the other end and gets a bucket. 69-71 now. 3:25 to go. Tulsa up 13 on fast break points in this game, which I didn't expect. Well, this is just getting a little stagnant here on offense. I don't like it. They're looking too much for Tahad again. Sway's going to hit a shot here. And he is not going to hit that shot. Did not like that offensive possession at all. From 3:30 to 3 minute, I didn't like that spot. I didn't like that position at all. To Tahadi, and it was obvious they were extending all the way out on Tahad to challenge him around the ball screen, and it just was obvious that he was not going to be the guy there. He wasn't going to be able to get that shot up. Keyshawn Hall going to draw a foul there in the full court on a really nice. I think they obstructed that guy's view, and he made a pass. He thought somebody was going to be there, and he couldn't see him, and then he threw it, and that was a pickoff. Keyshawn's done a nice job of staying in this game with 4 fouls. He went in with a little bit more than 10 minutes to go with his 4 fouls and said, hey, man, you got to figure out a way to stay on this floor and not pick up a 5th. And here we are 8 minutes later, and he's still doing it. So, I mean, he's played a lot of basketball. There's a 3 from Key Hall. He got fouled. All right. He's played a lot of basketball. He's probably played 100 games at this point, if not more. Let me look it up on Ken Palm. I don't know if they might have his complete numbers on there. He's played 35, 33, 28, 17, plus tonight's game. So he's played 114 college games. He's got to be one of the more experienced people in all of college basketball. He hits 2 of 3 to get to 71-71. Nice calf shot there. Okay, Hall. All right. All square, 2:25 to go. Who wants it more? It's a battle of who wants it more. Boy, playing 4 out with one guy low, and he's not going to get an offensive play. Number 9 isn't. They're going to call that on Keyshawn Hall. I think he stayed away from him. Well, that's going to be the end for Keyshawn Hall. He goes out of his last college game. And I don't know about that foul, man. I'll be honest with you. I thought he backed away from the contact. A little bit of a push. I always think of it this way. The way Nolan Richardson used to describe it was advantage, disadvantage. Like you call a foul when there's a disadvantage, right? And I just didn't feel like there was a disadvantage there, but it is what it is. So that's going to be the end for Keyshawn Hall, and that is not good for Auburn. I think of him as a very good clutch performer because he could just get you a bucket. He knows how to wiggle and lean and get the ball in the bucket. I mean, he knows how to do it. So now I think it's going to be too much pressure on Tahad unless they wisely go to KO. I think it's pretty cool under pressure. Ball's in KO's hands. I prefer that right now. And shit, he just turned the ball over. That is a tough turnover there. A tough time anyway. Give it up. T-Roy says Ryan Shoemaker level acting job. Nice reference to get Shoe in there, bro. Brandon, you're not wrong, bro. I didn't like that. I did like the ball being in his hands, but then he got a little dribbly with it and paid the price. Tulsa going for a 3 right there. Actually, good closeout from Jovic. He was right on him. Oh, my God. Taha just got his pocket picked. Boy, KO turns it over, and then Taha turns it over, and you're just like, golly, man. Your two most reliable guys, and they're just, oh, Tulsa hits a 3 right there. That might be it. It gets them to 76. Without Keyshawn Hall, I just don't know that they can do this. Sway going to take a 3, miss it. Rebound KO. Todd taking a long 3, and he hits it. He hits it.
Splash.
All right, 74-76. Not out of it yet. Still got several possessions in this game. Got a potential for 3 possessions on this. I mean, potential. At least 2. The 2 turnovers there, the back-to-back from KO and then Tahad are just killers, man. Good golly, that's tough. And that was KO's first turnover of the game. The most important moment. That's a tough one there. Thanks for reminding us, ESPN, that Auburn led by 21 in the first half. We didn't know that. Just kidding. I don't have to. Just didn't really want to hear about it. I'm with you, Brandon. It's just too much dribbling. Yeah, I agree with you on that one. P-Pass says, this is the Auburn season. Up by a lot, down by 5. And it's just all over the place. Which game is this most like? To me, it just feels like that Mississippi State game at Mississippi State. Although, again, as I mentioned, I talked about this earlier, but, you know, Tulsa was way behind in this game. Auburn was way behind in that game. So it's not exactly the same, but you just kind of feel like Auburn's going to put their foot down and do something. They just didn't do it. That Mississippi State game. Texas A&M game was kind of like that. Tulsa being patient just as I would, but they just need a good shot here. I don't think they have to worry about too much of the time. Yeah, Jovic fouled him right there. Jovic was in a bad position on the rebound. I don't know why he's looking confused. That was definitely a foul. All right, so the white dude's going to be shooting free throws here. That's going to be a 5th for Jovic. So that means Sway's going to have to be your 5. And Elijah's going to have to be your 4. I mean, I know we got 18 seconds left here, but I'm saying if you're able to get to overtime, you've got real issues in the front court here. Crocky Poo, it looked like to me that Jovic was in bad rebounding position and kind of reached around the guy to try to get a board. It was kind of a fool's errand right there. Anyway, they're going to hit both free throws, dude did, and get it up to 78. So Auburn's got to get a quick bucket here one way or another. Terrible shot from Pettiford, but a great rebound from Elijah and got fouled on a stick back opportunity. You really wish he'd have been able to get that ball to go down because it would be an and 1. But as it stands, he's going to get 2 free throws. He doesn't look confident. He oftentimes isn't confident. And he missed the first one on the front end. Chuck Barkley's like, come on, man. All right, hits the second one to get it to a 1-possession game, but they're going to have to be in a situation where they got a foul. Unless you can get a steal on this inbound. We got a turnover from Tulsa on the inbound. Got a 5-second call. He did have to go like a really long way to get, he just didn't ever get a good look. Didn't feel like he had a good pass to anybody here. So Auburn's got the ball now, 8.8 under the basket here. Holy shit. KO from 3. Holy shit. Got to defend, though. Got to defend. That tied it up. Oh, no. So here's the thing. So we're going to go to overtime here, which is good. That's the good news. The bad news is you're missing Jovic and you're missing K. Hall. So your 5 is out and your 4 is out. So you got to play Elijah at 4, and you have to play Sway, who's probably way over his minutes now. He's at 31 minutes, which is a lot for him. And he's going to play 5. But Tulsa's not a really big team, so you don't have to worry necessarily about getting, like your Zach Edey's not out there. Or Condon or any of those big boys from Florida. But it's going to be a little bit of a challenge here. Jeez, guys. How do we feel about this? Auburn Fanatic says, Jesus, take the wheel. Let me give you how about you for that one.
How about you, fella?
How about you?
How about you?
My man. T-Roy says, it's your time, Blake. All right, let's do a foul update here. Obviously, you've got a Hall and a Jovic out, but nobody else has 4. Tahad and KO both have 3. But, I mean, here we go. We only got 5 minutes left, so that's not too big of a deal. Barend, white dude that plays center for them, has 4. And Smickle has 3, but nobody else is in any kind of trouble. So I think it would be nice to get Barend out of there, but their white guy, number 9, but I don't know if it matters. He hadn't been a big-time scorer for them anyway. Elijah's not necessarily the tallest guy around, but he has incredibly long arms. So, I mean, he can rebound. But it's just, he's just a player that is not a confident player. He's going to be really down about missing that tip in, and just have to hope he can kind of pick it up. I don't know. Let's see, Stu Pup thinks K-Mag's going to step up here. And D Lucky thinks that Hod's going to step up here. I like that optimism here, guys. That's a good effort, but it was a goaltend. So Tulsa gets to 80. I don't know who got. I guess it was Sway on that. Look at Sway getting a little assertive. There you go. We got a bucket in there. Side up, 80-80. Sway now has got 11 points on 5 of 12 shooting. You got to dig deep here defensively. They've got to close out. Decent closeout on that. They missed the 3. And Sway got the rebound, throws it ahead to Tahad for a dunkski. We'll give it a splash on that. It was not a 3, but it was a nice play in transition, so we'll give it a splash on that. Tulsa just drives in and puts a nice bucket in there close. The kind of stuff that K-Hall does. But he will not be doing in overtime because he's fouled out of this game. He and Jovic are both out. And so you have you just got to go with what you got in the front court. Sway and what are we doing here? Sway and Elijah is all you got now. This is kind of fun, though, to me. This is like one of those playoff games in baseball where it's like a 1-game playoff and like Randy Johnson comes in as like a reliever, or whatever. You just have to kind of do some shit that you don't normally do. And Elijah doesn't play 4, but he's going to now. And this is the kind of situation where I would love to see him just kind of step up and be an absolute stud. It would be awesome. Because I love Elijah. He's not a confident person. He's kind of like the opposite of K-Hall. And look, so their big center just fouled out, though. A white dude, number 9, so he's out. He's been their best rebounder. But they got other guys. All right, so Sway hits 2 free throws. Nice. He's not necessarily a great free throw shooter, but he hit those 2. And he gets Auburn up to 84. .322 to go here. Tulsa's having some trouble up in the front court right now. I think they've got their own problems here. They just had a turnover. They couldn't figure out if they wanted to go front court, back court, a little bit of a drive, didn't really know what he's doing, and Auburn picked his pocket. And Auburn going to slow it down a little bit. I'm not surprised. They've just had a lot of minutes. Tahad. Tahad with a big-time drive right there. Through at least 3 guys. and somehow got that ball in for a bucket there. Blake Michalek back in, just got picked big time. And Riley just dropped as Andy would say, a hammer. The one-handed hammer. Although it wasn't really Blake's fault. It was just Blake's guy. You need someone to have some help side on that. I don't love it when Tahad bounces the ball this much, but it is what it is. Oh, my God. Overton.
Splash.
That's like a Reggie Sharp 3 right there. That is from so far out, guys. Jeez Louise, that's from the Tiger Eyes. That was an incredibly long 3. And a big one, too. Blake Michalek playing a little defense here on Riley. Riley's going to try to ISO him, and he did beat his ass, but he freaked out at the rim and lost the ball, but he got it back. And Tulsa cannot hit the 3. Auburn's percentage of winning this game has just gone up. I would say they got a 72% chance to win this game now. Todd's going to slow this ball down and dribble it out a little bit. Of course, these guys are tired now. You've got KO and Pettiford are now over 40 minutes played, and Sway is at 35, but you got all off season to get your energy back. I didn't like Auburn's offensive possession there. I did not like that. They got a tip in at 104. I didn't like Auburn's possession down there. I liked the start of it when they were kind of bouncing the ball and letting them get their wind back, but the execution part of that attack was bad. And then they gave up a second chance opportunity on the other end. Just not good. There's the missed 3 and then a tip back from Barnstable. So 86-89, Auburn's going to have the ball out full court when we come back. 104, I believe, to go. Yes. Just to kind of give you a reset here, your leading scorer is KO, 25 points, 7 of 13 from the floor, 5 of 8 from three-point range. Tahad, 24 points, 8 of 22. It's a lot of missed shots. 4 of 11 from 3. He's got 8 assists and 3 turnovers, which is good. 41 minutes played, though. So he's been an Iron Man. I mean, a lot of these guys have had to go a lot on their side. I mean, Barnstable's gone 41. Green has gone 41. So Riley's gone 39. So they like to talk about their deep bench, but they haven't really gone with that too much tonight. They've stuck with their main guys. Definitely in the last 8 minutes of this game for sure. Blake Michalek, this is probably a career high for him. He's got 9 minutes, 0 points, but 0 turnovers. I mean, whatever. He's just kind of had to, they're short-staffed right now. To be fair, he's got a plus-minus of 7, so he hasn't been terrible. Whale Driver says, who wants it? And Ravin says the NIT has my blood pressure up. There's Coach Ian right there coaching. Maddox Jeffries right there with the dry erase board, drawing up some stuff there. Yeah, I think a bucket right here, particularly a 3-point bucket, would be real nice. That would be real nice. There he is, Don Proper Dickin. He says, thank you either way. What's up, Don? Appreciate you, bro. Thanks for jumping in. Who's always been with us on the Bourbon Blend and the Brain Drain as well. KO draws a foul on the drive. Okay, we'll take it. Papula was his name. The guy that fouled him. If he wasn't such a stud, people would make fun of him for that name, call him Poopola. But I wouldn't say that to him. He'd probably beat my ass. I bet you Chuck Barkley's happy about this. Remember, they showed him earlier when it looked like Auburn was going to lose this game, where they were like, he was doing this, like, shit. they got an opportunity here. Yeah. I was thinking KO would hit both of those, but he only hit one. It's still a 4-point game. Auburn's doing a good job on these three. They're not going to let him get a free three here. He's told them to stay on the ground, be the second one off the floor. They just missed a three and got an offensive rebound, but it's going to be an over and back. So now Auburn's got possession with 14.8 to go. Blake Michalek is going to get double-digit minutes in this game. He's got 10 minutes in this game. 0 points in 10 minutes. I mean, that's okay. I mean, he's not out there to score. Typically, Auburn's got plenty of scores. I want to make sure this is a high for minutes. No, he's had 10 minutes before. He had 10 against Missouri and 10 against Arkansas. Excuse me. All right, so we've got Auburn going to the line here. Brandon J says, just when I thought I was out, they're going to pull me back in. Just when I thought you couldn't possibly be any dumber. You go and you pull a stunt like this and totally redeem yourself. We good? Oh, yeah. All right, Freeman. Looking a lot better than he did at the end of regulation. Hits both free throws. Gets Auburn to 92. 6-point game with 11.5 to go. Todd's clapping his hands. He feels like he's got a W in front of him. Feels like he's got a national title in front of him. That was 2 big free throws. Yeah, Crocky said it's massive from Freeman. It really was. Big free throws there. Big free throws right there. Let's see. Freeman for the game has 6 points on 1 of 3 shooting. 4 of 8 from the line. 13 boards. I guarantee you Steven's going to be talking about that after the game. 13 boards. And also a peripheral number that's impressive is 8 assists for Tahad with 3 turnovers. That's helpful. That is definitely helpful because he's got 24 points, but he needed 22 shots to get that. It's an inefficient game scoring-wise. KO, on the other hand, 26 points on 7 of 13, which is fine. It's weird to me that he's out there for 42 minutes and he has 1 rebound, but I can't really hate too much. You think you just kind of stumble into some rebounds when you play 42 minutes, you know what I mean? But Ornatius says, hell of a coaching job by Steven. I bet he's not being honest there, but I do think they played hard. They had to dig this one out. Timeout Tulsa after they get to the half court. Let's see. Brandon says, cut down the nets. And Crocky Poo says, I would. Stu Pub, man, if it was a microcosm for Auburn, I think they would probably lose it, right? I mean, honestly, they've just lost so many close games. And they haven't won as many close games. Like the Kentucky game was a close one that they were able to win. That was kind of a weird one, right? Some would argue it was kind of a bullshit one. The Kentucky game stuck out. The Texas game was relatively close. Like the Florida game wasn't close. They kind of crushed them. The Ole Miss game, the first one anyway, at their place wasn't close. The South Carolina game at home was surprisingly close considering how dog shit South Carolina is. Arkansas game at Neville Arena wasn't close. So they don't really win a lot of close games. They just lose them. But not in this case. Looks like Auburn's going to probably finish this one out. That's pretty big. I mean, it ain't the same as Cam, stiff arming Pat Peterson and getting in the end zone in a big win against LSU, but still, it's something. Justin C, I appreciate for the super chat. He says, I contribute this W to the drain. Easy L earlier. Thank you, bro, for jumping in with us and for super chatting. Riley misses his last shot of the season on a left-handed drive, and Tahad's going to put one in at the buzzer. I don't know that it's going to count, but it's not going to matter. The Auburn Tigers are victorious, and they can claim a national champion. Well, we could say they could claim the championship of the National Invitation Tournament. NIT champions. A lot of people will say hashtag 69th place. But I just say it's a piece of hardware, right? You can stick that somewhere, I don't know, in a closet or something. And now Steven can say, well, you know, we won our last game, and that's a big thing. That's what every coach is trying to do. And, you know, there's Abdul right there. If you've been wondering, where's Abdul Bashir? He just walked by on the line right there. Keyshawn Hall's really happy to get that win because I guarantee he's pissed off that he was on the sideline for that. Oh, they get their hats. Look, they get champions. It's champions hats, guys. Hell yeah. They better put a banner up there, huh? Mega Tiger jumping in. Mega. So it still feels like we kissed our cousin at a family reunion, but war damn anyway. I love it, bro. I'll give you a laugh for that one. That's pretty funny. Cleveland Brown jumping in. Says NIT champs, War Damn Eagle KO for MVP. I definitely think he was the best player tonight. Hit that Tiger Eye 3 and the Reggie Sharp 3. That was big. I feel like a stranger says 69th place. Nice. Stu Pup says put it next to the Maui trophy. It's about the same thing. And somebody says they're going to buy a shirt. Unfortunately, the writing's so small there. Justin C says he's buying a shirt. And Chipper says, I don't have to go to Africa to get my AU NIT champs hat. Put your hat on, boys. Hey, there's a Mika Oporum, if you ever wonder. He's over there on the far right. He's a really tall guy with the dreads. He's wearing he's got still in his sweatshirt there. He's doing better. Look at him putting all the hats on Steven there. That's great. Look at K-Mag. He's just mugging for the camera. KO's like so serious though. Like he'll give you good answers and be like, "We just played really hard." Whale Driver says, "Can we call Stephen Pearl Mr. April? Undefeated in April, guys. Career undefeated in April. I mean, not a lot of people can say that. He's 2-0 now, and they finished out winning 5 in a row. That's pretty good. And they're going to be one of three men's teams that can say they finished the season with a win. That's pretty big. I don't know how we. I don't know if this changes how we feel about the season as a rule, as a whole thing. Let me go ahead and get this Ken Palm together, and we can kind of talk a little bit about what we end up thinking about this season. Did get a super chat coming through from Irvin, my guy. Says great job by our boys. I love the positivity. Best case scenario for Stephen Pearl, War Damn Eagle. Let's drink. Yeah, let's drink. Seriously, let's do that. It's 9:35 on a Sunday. The Auburn Tigers have just won a Natty, which is short for National Invitation Tournament Championship. And look at Elijah. Little Peerless toasted. And ESPN2 giving Auburn plenty of time here to see their championship hats on. That's great. That's great. Brandon says, time for a raise and an extension. Let me get over here on the box side. I'm going to get this score updated. Finished out 92-86, I believe. Yep. And I'm going to kill this box, and we'll take a look at the Ken Palm, at least the bottom half of the season. This is kind of what Auburn looked like here at the end. Starting not ironically with the St. John's win, which is one of their best wins of the season. Second best win of the season, aside from the win against Florida. But this includes all of the SEC stuff. And in general, I would call this probably this season did not meet expectations. I think there's people that would say, hey, you win your last game, that's got to be worth something, and I think it is. And I do think Steven turned a corner coaching-wise in the second half of February. I think when he was mired in that 5-game losing streak, you can see there, starting with the Tennessee game and ending with the Mississippi State loss or the Kentucky win, which is very, very fortuitous. I feel like he kind of changed his approach a little bit with the way that he was coaching. I thought he just less blaming and more just taking accountability and just going at it. Here we go. There's the hardware boys. Stephen Pearl with his hat backward. Look at that trophy. Look how happy K-Hall is. He loves it. As the confetti flies down. Look at that, guys. It's time to party. Are you guys feeling like you want to party? Yeah, you are. There's so much confetti, it's in the daggone lens. Absolutely idge. Idge. I mean, it is a great way to finish the season, though. Like, actually. You took a negative and you turned it into a positive and you win it. And you can use that and say, hey, you know, we finished with a win. We exercised our demons. We started to learn who we were. I started to learn who I was as a coach. These are things they can say to people in the portal. They can say to kids they're recruiting in high school that, hey, we had our problems, but we made the best of it and we fought through it and we ended up winning a championship at the end. So that's a good little message. You know, we were Final Four a year before. Had to win the NIT this year. I mean, we have a heritage of postseason accomplishments. I'm just saying, you can tell kids that, and they hear it. I like how Steven it was kind of a halfway, like, hey, hey. All right, so I'll go ahead and turn this off. Do we want to take a look at our box score here? I guess we can just talk about the season in general. To me, the season in general is probably, I'm going to finish it out. I mean, this definitely adds something to it at the end. I thought this was probably a D season. And then you win the NIT and it takes it probably to a C for me. Something in that neighborhood. It's kind of how I feel about it. Here we go. Trying to reset that chat box. It's behind a little bit. I'm not sure why. Let's see. We got a super chat coming through from Stu Pup, my man. He says, the NIT is the Birmingham Bowl of basketball, but it's still fun to win it. Several guys got a lot of good experience, and let's build on it. Yeah, I like that. I think the Birmingham Bowl of basketball is probably a fair way to put it. But considering football couldn't even get into into that bowl, much less any bowl, we'll just kind of take it. So, yeah, it's not the biggest accomplishment, but it's something. JDAU, what's up, bro? Says JG, what a win. Weather 12 in this glass. Cheers, bro. Time to release me from the chains of Chile. It is. It is. I told JDAU we would release him from his ban when Auburn's postseason run was finished. And so I've got to be a man of my word on that. So I'm going to do it right now. I did promise him I would do that. Where are you on here? Here we go. Doing it right now. Let's see. Update user group. Is that what it is? Yeah, there it is. All right. You're free to go now, bro. Just like I promised. But please behave yourself. Let's not make an ass out of it. All right, let's see what we're thinking. Chip says solid C. I think that's fair. Unfortunately, I can't see all of these. I can't read them. The font's a little too small for my old man eyes. Let's see. Pocket says D to C season with the NIT is well put. I appreciate you standing behind me on that. That's about what I see. Yeah. P-Pass says, I think winning the NIT is better than losing in the round of 32. Interesting. I think a lot of people would probably not agree with that. Not sure how I feel about it. Because since this team probably wasn't getting to the round of 32 anyway. Crocky Poo says, man, that stretch from 131 to 228 was just a killer. It really was. You lose to Tennessee, which isn't that big of a deal, but I thought they would be able to beat Alabama at home, and they didn't. Lost at home to Vanderbilt, which is they're good, but you just kind of feel like Auburn can win at home, and then they go on the road to Arkansas, and I thought that game was worse than that. It's 88-75, but it felt worse because Acuff was just getting anything he wanted in that game, and then they lose the game at Mississippi State, which is the one where Josh, what's his name? I forget his last name. The kid went off for like 25 points in the first half or something. What are we doing? Or they score 30? I don't remember what it was. And then they actually got up by 8, and then they lost it. And I was like, fuck. And then they beat Kentucky at home on a really weird set of plays at the end. And then the game at Oklahoma, which I thought was where they kind of spit the bit. I just thought that game was one where they could win that game. Now, to be fair, Oklahoma they were in the middle of kind of a renaissance themselves, and they ended up doing well in their little postseason run too in the Crown Tournament. So they've been better. So it's not as bad now. I mean, that loss doesn't look as bad now as it did then, but I was just like, God, guys, why are you giving up 90 fucking points to this team? I don't know, whatever. Then they lost at home to Mississippi, or Ole Miss, which is like, yikes. Crushed LSU, who's trash. Lost at Alabama in a game that they weren't going to win. Yeah. And then lost to Tennessee in the SEC tournament before running it off. So we got a lot of feedback here coming through on the chat. Glad to see you guys being so active this late at night. Whale Driver, by the way, has a super chat here. Say, honestly, question, do you hang a banner for that? I think they probably will put up a small banner for that. Yeah, they will not make a celebration of that. But I think they're going to put something up on that, yeah. Hornacia says, thank you, Stephen, for leading us to this magic moment. This magic moment. Yeah, that's what they were thinking of. Chipper says, you cracking that Final Four Knob Creek? Hell no. I don't think so, man. I promised you guys I was going to crack it if they ever got back, and they got back, and then I didn't crack it. Maybe this is my fault. This might be my fault then, but here's my Final Four uncracked. Sorry, I'm just trying to point out. Yeah, there it is, the Final Four logo. But I did not crack it. And this is from the 19 Final Four. And I said I would crack it if it got to another one, and then I didn't. So I'm not a man of my word on that one. Hope you guys can forgive me on that one. My man Revenge jumps in again to say, got to be up at 4 a.m. for work. Have a great night, fam. Thanks for the drain. My man, applause for Revenge. We love Revenge. And I hope somehow he can find his way to Orange Beach at the end of the month when they have our bunker throwdown. I think he has to work, but we're hoping he can kind of change that up a little bit. Hoping he can. My man Ryan S. is here with us tonight. I'd love to see that. He said, I would say losing to Ole Miss and at Mississippi State were worse than losing to Oklahoma. I just thought they could beat Oklahoma. I really did. And they just got pushed around so bad in that game. They got down big early, and it was just like, what are we doing? Stu Pep says, pour one out for Man Bun Ben Wolk. Why are we pouring one out for him? Is there something I need to know about that? Please elaborate on that. MWD jumps in to say, narrative for this team in Auburn history book changed in 5 games to overcame adversity and won AU's first postseason national tournament. My man. I like the positivity there. I know we're all kind of having fun with it, but I mean, at least they did something. And also, the game itself was interesting in the sense that, you know, they had a big lead, 21 points, spit the bit, went on a 22, let Tulsa go on a 22-2 run, ended up going down. And I thought at a couple points there with maybe 2 or 3 minutes left in regulation, we're going to get knocked out. I mean, I thought they were down 4 or 5 points, and I thought one more bucket was going to finish them off. But they didn't get it, and they ended up winning the game. I mean, it's just something they haven't done a lot of this year, is to turn a game around like that. And that was good. That's something that I'll remember about it. My man Reynolds, Weather Channel legend. I was actually thinking about that the other day because Weather Channel came up with that retrocast on their website where if you click on I think it's in the top left corner, it will go through like what it used to be on the locals on the 8s back when I was, this would have been in like the late 80s when I was a big Weather Channel fiend. And I started thinking about how much I loved watching like Janetta Jones and Christina Abernathy back in those days. And obviously Greg Forbes was always a star there. And I thought, man, Reynolds, who's a Weather Channel guy, he's going to be a Janetta Jones or a Christina Abernathy for someone, who's like coming up and loving the Weather Channel now. Like a kid that's a teenager who's just fascinated with meteorology. And that's pretty fucking special, man. That's really cool. I mean, the reverence I have for the legends like Janetta Jones and Christina Abernathy, someone's going to feel that way about him. That's pretty fucking cool. A lot of people can't say that. P-Pass says, weather on the 8s as cinema. Kind of, man. I mean, it brings me back to a really good place in my life because I used to love watching the Weather Channel like back in those days. And it was just, I would watch it for hours, not necessarily intensely watching it, but while I'm doing something else, while I'm studying or reading or whatever. It's good stuff, man. Let's see. Daz says, War Eagle talking about pulling the rabbit out of the hat. Congrats on Pearl this season. 22 wins, most in Auburn history as a first-year coach, and we beat a 30-win Tulsa team. All true. All true. And I think more significantly, Daz, is that I feel like Steven took a step forward as a coach. I really do. I felt like he just stopped feeling sorry for himself in the middle of that losing streak right there. You can see it on your screen, starting with the Tennessee loss on the 31st of January, and I think he became a better coach. I really do. And I think it's something that's going to come in. It's going to come in handy moving forward. I think he's a better coach now. And I think the fact that he's got this really good GM coming in to really help with identifying players they need to get in the portal and then understanding how much money you've got, how much money this player's worth, et cetera, et cetera. I think it's going to help them make some really smart decisions in the portal. Now, you still got to go get them, and you still got to compete against other ball clubs, programs that want these guys. And that's going to be up to Steven, and that's going to be up to Burgo and Ian and whoever else. But I think BK is going to be a really nice addition for them and going to help a lot. Solo Tigre says, obviously not what I wanted, but as an avid Auburn hoops watcher, and I would certainly put you in that category. I still appreciate it. I feel slightly better about Steven's coaching. Doing it without Murph, good point. I hadn't really put much into that, and I should have. Now need to see him put together a good roster. Auburn Fanatic's going to bounce now. Say, Auburn family, good night. I'm glad you're going to go to sleep with some sweet dreams, Auburn Fanatic. Having an opportunity to doze off with Auburn having won their last game. That's really great. Let's see. Chipper and I feel very similarly on this, particularly on the football side. Got to get dudes off to a decent start. I agree with that with the French guy who's like 7'1" and allegedly has some skill and ability. So that would be nice to see him come in and actually be a scorer and a useful player. Somebody was asking earlier about, hey, JG, let's go through the roster, but I can't really do that because I don't know. I mean, it's just too much in flux. At this point, you feel like Caleb Williams is going to be here, their high school signee. You feel like the French guy is going to be here since he's on board. But after that, and I think KO is pretty much going to be here. But after that, I don't know. I mean, I think Sway will be back, but I don't know that. I'm assuming Jovic is going to be back, but I don't know that for sure. And I would think that Elijah will be back, but I think there's going to be teams that will offer him money. He's from South Florida, so you think that Miami would consider offering him money. I don't know if Florida Gators are going to want him, or if if Florida State wants to go after him, or you don't never know who's going to pop up and offer him $1 million. Chipper says, who's in the portal by 10 a.m. tomorrow? I think K-Mag's going in the portal like immediately. I think so. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Tahad go in the portal. I'm not necessarily saying that he would go out of the portal and immediately go somewhere else, but I think that he probably will put his name in. It's my opinion. K-Hall can't play anymore. Let me just kind of work my way through. It's pretty much everybody. I mean, Sway. I don't have a read on Sway. Again, I've told you guys today, if I had to guess, I would say he's coming back. But I don't know if he's going to be the kind to go through the portal and then maybe pull his name out or whatever. I don't know how he'll go through that. I don't know him and his mom and his dad well enough to know how they're going to manage that. But I think he'll be back. Be my guess. Oh, I missed a super chat. Did I? God dang it. I'm sorry. There it is right there. Cleveland Brown jumps in again. Says, happy Easter, by the way, and war damn Eagle. Let's give him an applause for that. Cleveland Brown, you've been so supportive tonight. You always are when we're here on the drain, and I appreciate that, my guy. Thank you for being here with me from start to finish tonight. Absolute stud, no doubt about it. And I did stay hydrated reasonably well. Chipper says, honestly, they should all go into the portal so they can legally talk to other teams. Personally, and I'm only speaking for myself because I'm a weird person, I would go to Steven or BK or whoever I need to go to and say, hey, here's what I think that I'm worth, and give them a number. And if they say, hey, we like you, we're willing to pay that, I would not put my name in the portal. I know me. I'm big on if somebody's good to me, I want to be good to them, and I don't want to play around with these games. I did that when I was the advertiser, probably to my own demise, but I didn't take opportunities that came to me when I was at the advertiser. I ended up taking the job here because the advertiser was literally going underwater, so I wasn't going to be there much longer. And it worked out great, or at least I think it worked out great. I think W. Dam from the board would probably say it didn't work out great because I'm still there, but anyway. There he is. Cleveland Brown says, always happy to support the drain. As always, cheers. What a great night. Cleveland just loves watching the Auburn Tigers play, and he especially loves watching the Auburn Tigers win games. So that's where we're at on that one. Crocky Poo says, Chipper, I think we're gonna go more Euro than portal, to be honest, but we'll see. I could see that. I mean, they're starting out that way. And it seems like, Arizona did that. 2 of their starters are from Euro. I don't think Michigan's guys were Euro. And obviously Illinois went very heavy on Euro. So there is a blueprint for that. And I think BK's got some experience with that. So I think that's something I would keep an eye out for. At least 2. I mean, they got the French guy. But I think they get another one or maybe 2 that are going to be Euro. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see that's a good call, Crocky. We were looking for, actually, this is kind of a back-to-back here, even though they were split out a little bit. P-Pass says, we need a cool nickname for the new French guy, to which D. Lucky says, the Big Croissant. I wonder if he would like that. That's actually a kind of a cool idea. Crocky says, Illinois did it. Absolutely. Illinois definitely went Euro. And he also mentions that Virginia went Euro as well, so, and took a big step forward. I was freaking out. Well, I was kind of hoping that Virginia, remember their coach quit right before the season started. It might have been last year. Their coach that was able to cheat that win against Auburn. And I was hoping that Virginia was going to eat shit for like the next 10 years, but they kind of turned it around. T. Roy Tiger thinks Big Baguette would be a nice name for the new French forward. Also, Solo Tigre says S. Cargo. I kind of like that one. I wish his name was had an S in it. His name was like Esprit or something. I don't know. P-Pass kind of likes Big Baguette. There we go. I like that. That's pretty good right there. The Big Baguette. I'm freezing my baguettes off. Crocky Poo thinks the Eiffel Tower. Also, that's not bad at all. Problem is, I don't think a lot of sidewalk Auburn fans can spell Eiffel correctly. I would say the same about Bammers too, by the way. Shoot, I even have to look at it a couple times. It happens sometimes. Dealing says Crocky. Eiffel Tower of Power. So P-Pass says we got to make sure he's powerful first. So, yeah, we went through the grades early. I think most people are thinking like a C for the season overall, and they were probably thinking F or a D prior to this postseason run right here. I'll go ahead and move up Crocky Poo's comment to the top so we can kind of focus on the last 6 weeks of the season. But it's great to finish with a lot of green right there. And that's something that Auburn hasn't done ever. Finish the season with a win. I don't think that's ever happened. I can't imagine that happening. JD asking me what I'm drinking. So I drank Toasted Peerless tonight. I've been drinking too much, honestly. Courtney and I have been drinking a whole lot. That's a big reason why we haven't been doing the bourbon blend is because we don't drink on Thursdays. We just got to a point during the fall where we were drinking 4 nights a week. And it wasn't really that we were just drinking that much. It's like we did the bourbon blend on Thursday. We always go out and hang out on Friday and drink. And Saturday I was doing the brain drain and getting drunk. And then Sunday we were watching Raiders and getting drunk. And it was like, this is too much drinking. So we kind of went dry, I mean, more or less in January, February. And then we just kind of stayed dry in March. Just didn't drink very much. There she is. Mobile alum says, "Hey JG, looking forward to seeing you in a few weeks. Glad to have Mobile alum there. I don't think we've ever had an Orange Beach event without Mobile alum, so she's always a good luck charm. And looking forward to seeing you as well in that badass car of yours, which I'm jealous of. Even though I like mine, yours is badass too. Let's see. P-Pass jumps in with his grade for the season, B-, D at the finish of the SEC tournament, but putting it together. The problem is that, in past seasons, let's say this happened 10 years ago, you'd say, okay, well, this nucleus, learned how to win, and they're going to apply those lessons the next season. But it's like, how many of these guys will be back, and how many of these lessons will actually be kept by Auburn, and how many will go to another school, and the lessons will help that other school, That's the thing. But I do think there's a core of guys that are going to stick around, and I think it will be valuable. I think the biggest thing is just that Steven, I like the way he coached better. Probably starting around, honestly, the home loss to Ole Miss or the win against LSU is where I thought he kind of turned a corner. And I really like the way he coached in the tournament and also, in the SEC tournament and also in this NIT tournament too. I thought he coached better. I really did. And I'm not somebody I mentioned this a couple hours ago, but I'm not a big Steven. Me and Steven don't really get along on a personal level too good. We've definitely had our fair share of disagreements. And so I'm not like a Steven Pearl stan by any stretch. I'll give him credit where it's due, but not more than that. And I really do think he did a really nice coaching job. I thought he turned around his situation and the team situation later in the season. He did his best coaching late in the year, that's for sure. And I just wish for Auburn's sake that he had an opportunity to coach somewhere else for a couple years before he became the head coach here, because I think he would have gotten a lot of this worked out had he been at Marshall, had he been at Georgia State, had he been at Georgia Southern, whatever, at Manhattan or Marist or somewhere like that, LaSalle, and just kind of work it out. And that way he shows up at Auburn and he knows exactly what he's doing. But hey, he got through this and finished it nicely, and hopefully he comes in next year and he's an even better coach then. I can definitely see him doing that. So I'm not super down about this. A lot of people expect me to say Steven sucks and Auburn's fucked, and I don't think that. I really don't. I mean, what if he ends up being a really good coach? I mean, he certainly has, his dad's really good. And his best friend's Todd Golden. He's really good. I mean, it's possible that he ends up being really good. Because I just feel like he's kind of gotten out of his own way a little bit, with the just kind of always looking to blame somebody else. Like, he's not doing that anymore. And I always felt like he was a pretty good recruiter. I mean, he did a good job in the portal for the most part. And I think if he just gets over himself a little bit, and I feel like he has, I don't know, I like him. I like him as a coach. I do. Chipper wants to know how many players fouled out this season. I'm not sure I could even find that number right now, bro. It would take me a while. I don't recall it happening very often. I agree with you. I feel like Hall would have been the most likely, or Murphy, to foul out of games. Keyshawn Murphy did not foul out of a game this season, believe it or not. He had 4 a bunch of times, but he never actually fouled out. How about that? Key Hall. This is the first game he fouled out of all year. No, he fouled out of the Alabama game at home. So 2. That ain't much for 2 guys that play about 40 minutes a game. And then Tahad fouled out of the Oregon game, believe it or not. And so that's only 1 for him this whole year. Golly, that's not much at all. And then I'll go to KO just for shits and gigs. I don't think he fouls out very much. Tennessee game he fouled out. A Vanderbilt game he fouled out. And the Merrimack game he fouled out of in 20 minutes. Okay. So what's that, like 7 or 8 out of the main 4 players? So yeah, not much at all. That's an interesting point. Let's see. P-Pass says, Bruce Pearl is like Cletus. He means Stephen Pearl is like Cletus McFarland in NASCAR. He needed seasoning but didn't get it. Let's see. Solo Tigre says, JJ, do you think KO can be a more consistent scorer game to game a la Bryce, or will he continue to be a complement or be competent with big outburst potential? Does he need a true PG1 to be that? Yes. I like KO better with a dedicated number 1 point guard who's a distributor. Somebody who can score some too, but his best skill is going to be distribution and assists and assist to turnover ratio. So somebody more like a Doc Robinson or Jared Harper was like that. Yeah, somebody's like a dedicated one. I think they're going to get that. I don't think they're going to play this tweener game anymore. If KO is going to stay, which I think he will, I think they'll go out and get a point guard. And that's, BMAT mentioned that when we had him on at halftime for the video interview, which that, you've got to think about Tahad as a value proposition. What is Tahad worth it to you in dollar signs as a combo guard? Because if Tahad's price point is $1.5 million, which I think is probably approximately what he's worth, I don't know that he's worth that to Auburn. I think Auburn would be better off to spend a straight up $1 million on a distribution point guard and then take that other $500,000 and either add it to somebody else like Sway and make sure he stays or whatever. I think you're better off with that. Because if you got KO, who's a scorer, and you got Elijah, who I think is a scorer if he just gets confident, and Sway can do some scoring too, now you just need to go take the money you paid Hall, which was a lot, and go get you a fucking scorer, A scorer who can also defend at least decently. So we're just kind of getting into the weeds there a little bit, but that's kind of what I'm seeing. Poppy Clan jumps in and say, good to see you, Jay. Nice run to end a disappointing season and get something positive in the end. Absolutely, Poppy. Glad to see you, my man. Yeah, it's positive for sure. I mean, winning your last game, not many teams can say that. And I know they're in the second tier tournament. We all know that, but it's still very useful. It's still very useful, I think. Can be. If they keep this core together and Steven can take the coaching gains that I think we've seen and, build upon that, I think it can be a very good thing. Oh, you're talking about Jovic fouling out Solo Tigre. I didn't even think about Jovic. Let me take a look real quick. So we're only at like 7 foul outs here. All right, so Jovic fouled out against Tulsa. Jovic fouled out against Georgia. Just 2. It's not bad. Doubt Elijah played enough to foul out. He did foul out against Alabama. The first one. That was it. And I'll take a look at Sway real quick. Sway fouled out against Seattle. He fouled out at Missouri. And he fouled out against Michigan. So I think he's your leader in the clubhouse there with 3 disqualifications. That's like 10 total. It's not bad. It's so weird. I'll tell you what, man. One thing that really stands out, I just completely forget about this because he's been gone so long, gone from the varsity lineup, is Abdul. I thought Abdul was going to be like an important player for them. Like he was supposed to be the sharpshooter 3-point guy who's like a 42% shooter in JUCO, and he's going to come in and light it up. He's going to be that guy that stretches defenses because he's always going to be a problem on the perimeter, and he just got hurt, and then his back got messed up, and he just wasn't right, man. Now, he's been playing in practice. I'm not supposed to talk about practice too much, but I mean, fuck, the season's over. He's been full speed in practice, and he's pretty good in practice. I mean, he shoots the ball well, and he's healthy, and he's quick, and I don't think they're going to keep him. I think if he wanted to stay on a reasonable contract, they probably would keep him. So he's somebody else to think about, but he is so thin, guys. I mean, he's like Kerry Kittle's thin. Like you fax him if he misses the team playing thin. And I don't know if you can defend in the SEC being that thin. I don't know, man. He's really, really, really thin. I mean, if he's going to shoot 45% from three, I mean, Steph Curry shoots that, and, you know, you deal with his defensive problems. But, I mean, golly, I'm not trying to say the guy's Steph Curry or anything, but you know what I mean? You can be really thin if you can really shoot the rock. Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, a.k.a. Chris Jackson, he was able to do that. When he played at LSU, he was very thin too. But, I mean, there's no way he's 200 pounds. Ain't no way. He's probably 6'5", 6'6", about 170 or something. I don't know. So we'll just kind of see what happens there. He was somebody that, honestly, going into the season, I thought he'd be like, not a starter, but like the 6th or 7th guy. And then he was just gone. Chipper thinks that he's going to probably be gone. I think they would keep him, though. It's just a matter of what he thinks he could get. I mean, if he thinks he's going to be $1 million player, then by God, go get it, brother. You know what I mean? But if he wants to come back for $500,000 or $400,000 or something, I mean, fuck, I don't know. I mean, if he's going to shoot 40% from three and he's able to play a little bit of defense, I mean, I don't know. I'd take him. Let him be the 8th guy. Let's see. Logan M says 2 natties in 2 days is better than anything the Bammers have done. Talking about this natty, and then, of course, men's wheelchair beat Alabama yesterday in Arizona and Tucson to win their national title. So that is back-to-back, and that's pretty cool. Auburn becoming really a basketball school right there is very interesting. Patrick D jumping in with a super chat. My goodness gracious. Let's give him one of these right here. Appreciate that, my guy. Just says NIT. Patrick, like many of you, really likes watching the Auburn Tigers play well and win games. He loves that, and he always has. He just got really sick of the excuses that Hugh Freeze kept coming up with, and I think we all kind of got really leery and weary of everything that Hugh had to say about being so close, and they really weren't. They didn't have the mental fortitude to win close games, period, and they weren't close to getting there. So that's why Patrick got a little disheveled. But the truth of the matter is that he deserved to be that way, and you guys all deserve to be that way because it just got old and cyclical, and we knew it was over. I really don't think Alex Golesh is going to have that problem. They may have other problems. But I don't think a lack of mental fortitude is going to be a problem for Golesh because I feel like he is such a mentally strong person, and I think he demands that from everybody all the time. And so I don't think they're going to be soft. And another big thing is that they have a proven big game quarterback on the roster now, right? I mean, you could sit there and say, well, not sure how USF translates to the SEC, and that's a fair criticism, but I still think you've got a guy that knows how to play the game, who's won games, who's won close games, who played well against Florida. You know what I mean? He's been there. So that's 2 things that Auburn didn't have before that they've got now. He's a tough son of a gun. I'll give you that. I feel like a stranger. I listed him personally at 6'5" or 6'6", 170, and you say officially he's listed at 6'7", 165. I mean, he's probably not 6'7", but you know what I mean. He's probably, we'll give him 6'6", 165. Okay. It's just that, like, he's long and he's active, but he's just so thin. I just feel like guys would just kind of chicken wing him out of there, you know? And, I mean, Jovic gets pushed around like that a little bit, and he's not thin. Elijah gets pushed around a little bit like that. He did in this Tulsa game, too. He's probably a similar build to Bashir, but he's a little thicker than Bashir. So that's something to think about. Noel G, what's up, bro? Glad to see you, man. I love this guy. He does some important work off the board. We'll say it that way. JG, how much is going to spend on next year's roster? Who do you see returning? Who's leaving? Your thoughts on the big guy that signed? Film is good. I like him. I definitely like the French guy. We're going to call him the Big Baguette or the Eiffel Tower. I don't know which one's going to stick yet, but one of those two. I think technically, Chris, Pat Dye came to Auburn from East Carolina, did he not? Or was he at 1 year at Wyoming after being at East Carolina? I can't remember. It's a long time ago. Noel, we've been talking about this for most of the night. I think next year's roster is probably going to be in the neighborhood of $12 million. Poppy Clan says, is Tayshaun Prince a good comparison? So Tayshaun had freakishly long arms. He was like Keldrick Falk long arms. Abdul's not that long. I mean, he's thin like Tayshaun, but Tayshaun Prince had such incredibly long arms that made him more of a defensive menace. Let's see. Whale D says Eiffel Tower doesn't work because of Rudy Gobert. Is that what they call him? I don't know. They don't play for the Thunder. I don't pay much attention. And on Pocket says 1 year at Wyoming. Thank you for that correction. Okay, then. East Carolina, then 1 year at Wyoming, then Auburn. And it worked out fine. So some would argue it worked out very well. All right. So, Noel, going back to you, bro. Thank you for that. So I say 12 to 13 million. I think Sway will be back. I think Jovic will be back. I think KO will be back. I'm almost positive KO will be back. And then I think Freeman will be back, but it'll take some drama. It'll take some effort to get him back. Desperado, what's up, bro? He says, I'm still alive. We got a hip or chip. I'm glad you got a hip. You should have two. But I'm glad you got the chip. I'm glad you're able to enjoy that, Desperado. I'm happy for you, bro. And a lot of the folks in the chat are enjoying it as well. The Stifle Tower is what they call them. Okay. And then we were talking about Abdul. He might come back, but to me, he's like an 8th or 9th guy. I mean, but he might be good like that. But definitely K Hall's gone. Murphy's gone. Although he thinks he might be able to play another year, but I think he's gone. I mean, I don't think he'll be able to play another year somewhere else. And then I think K-Mag is going to jump in the portal right away. And I think Todd's definitely going to look around. And I think somebody's going to offer him more money than Auburn would be willing to offer him is what I think will happen. That's what I think will happen. I think he'll get an offer for about $1.5 million, and I don't think he's worth $1.5 million to Auburn. And so I think he ends up leaving to somewhere like some kind of an East Coast power, whether that's UConn, whether that's McNamara trying to get Syracuse back going, or something like that. I don't think he'll go to St. John's. I'm just trying to think of anybody else over that way that would be big. Maybe like Maryland want to make him a featured performer or something like that. So yeah, that's what I think will end up happening there. So they need to add. I think they'll. Crocky Poo was mentioned this earlier. No, I think they'll go Euro. They already went Euro for the French guy. I think they go Euro for maybe 1 or 2 more guys, and then I think you get 2 or 3 other guys in the portal. And I do think they're going to push for longer guys, and I think they're going to push for a true number 1 point guard. Ball handling point guard, Jared Harper, Doc Robinson, Tez Robertson, but better. You know what I mean? Just a true number 1 who can handle the ball in all conditions and won't turn it over a bunch. And maybe scoring will be the second important thing for him, but he'll just be a ball handler and a distributor and a guy who controls. Like the Cadeau guy that plays for Michigan, that type of player, Although you can also, like the point guard from who played at Hinkle for the Butler Bulldogs. I don't remember his name. Fitz or something. White dude with long hair. He's like a acrobatic point guard. Somebody like that. P-Pass says, I could see Tahad going to St. John's. I think absolutely not. I think that's the last place he'll go, St. John's. I don't think that he wants to go to St. John's. It makes sense. I understand that, but I don't think it's going to happen. And EHL says Tahad's dad played with Danny Hurley. I did not know that, but that's interesting. So that's one that you might think about. I mean, UConn, I think he can play UConn. 100%. Just depends on what all they have, He's a good player. He's a great player. I think he's a great college player. He's not a number 1 for me. He's a combo guard. So you need someone behind him that can play point, like true point. One man's opinion. Solo Tigre says, I hope we get one that's 6'2" and not 5'10" like usual. Justin C says, what about Tanner from Vanderbilt, who's Tyler Tanner's an absolute stud. He's going to be a $2.5 million point guard. I mean, if you want to make him your featured performer, yeah. I mean, if you want to take all the money you paid K Hall and most of the money you paid to Todd, and if I'm assuming he got in the portal. I mean, he didn't stay at Vanderbilt. Maybe he is an absolute stud. He's one of the best number ones in the game. I mean, him and Acuff were easily the best players, in my opinion, in the league this year. And Jacoby Gillespie would also be a really good number one. I don't know if he has years left. I'm just saying he was a number one, Let's see. Brando wants to know, any chance NCAA adjust rules to end the play of Euro pros and being retro, making any Euro League players ineligible? I don't think retro, but who knows what they come up with. It seems like they're coming up with some BS all the time. They come up with some crazy rules that, this person or that person. If Danny Hurley don't like it, or fucking Mick Cronin doesn't like it, Let's see, in high school, Travis Pettiford played in high school. Yeah, I know that's what you're saying. Played with Dan Hurley at the great program that they're from. I forget what it was called. Was it? I don't remember. It was like Danny and Bobby Hurley's dad was like one of the greatest all-time high school basketball coaches up that way, and they always had players and just legends. Like, I mean, just players, like Hall of Fame type players. Vin B says Auburn should open a satellite campus in the Balkans just for research. Strictly for research. We're doing soil investigations for the agricultural college, and everything's Gucci. We just happen to be. We felt like the Balkans were a good place, and we just happen to have some basketball academy there. But it was really just for them to play on their spare time. We were doing soil investigations and all kinds of vegetation stuff. I mean, agricultural school. That's a great idea, Vin B, and I don't think anybody would suspect a thing. Not a single thing. Chipper thinks the NCAA is such an ass-clapping shit show. Come up with rules they can't enforce or won't. Boy, Ron Polk was ahead of you by like 50 years on that one. The former Mississippi State and Georgia baseball coach has been hating on the NCAA, and I do mean hating, since the 80s about their, just like you said, ass-clapping shit show. Just the duplicitous BS they come up with and have been coming up with for 50 years now or longer. It's just silliness. And I mean, you can even go back to like the UCLA stuff when, John Wooden is this great guy. And I idolize John Wooden like the next guy, but they did a lot of shady shit out there. NCAA just turned a blind eye to it. But whatever, it's old. It's water under the bridge. Coach Wooden's been gone 20 years or more now, so who cares? All right, do we want to wrap it up there? It is 10:19 in the Central Time Zone, 11 o'clock for our friends in the Eastern Time Zone. Of course, we're on Daylight Savings Time now, which I think we should stay on permanently. I think our enlightened friends in Georgia, I think may have voted for that, to stay in Daylight Savings Time, which I think is the right choice. So God bless you guys. I'm glad to have gone back on the saddle. On the brain drain. I'm glad some of you guys, if Golesh is Gulag, I know you may be using a alias here, kind of talked me into it. I know Chipper also was a fan of us doing a show tonight. I'm glad you guys pushed me into it, because I'm glad that I was able to. I was glad to do it. Glad to have you guys with me tonight to do this show, and kind of, I was almost weird when I got on the air in the beginning. I was like, I forgot how to do this. It's been a while. We haven't done a show of any kind since December, because we stopped doing the bourbon blend. Although it's not gone forever, we're just kind of taking a hiatus because we weren't drinking as much. Don says it's better with you out here, no matter the topic. Thank you, Don. Tell Co, last name redacted. No, last phonetics redacted. I said, what up? War Damn Eagle Dog. My man. There he is. Nick says, Golesh Gulag. Appreciate you, man, kind of pushing me into it. I'm glad to have done it. It was nice. And Evan B says, thanks again for another season of draining. We'll take it. Yeah. The season has ended. We are draining. Therefore, it's a season of draining. And Stu Pup says, thank you, Jay. This was fun. Thank you for your super chats, my guy. I appreciate that. It's very nice of you to do that. Chipper says, joy, misery, joy. Just another Auburn game. It can't ever just be unregulated joy. It's just got to be, there's always got to be disappointment in there, right? Nick says, not saying I'm the reason Auburn just won a national title, but we don't win that game without the drain. It's nice of you to say. G. Curry, what's up, man? I didn't know you were in here. I'm glad you're here with us tonight. G. Curry is one of our football good luck charms. when he shows up, usually Auburn does better. And so glad to see you, bro. If you were here during the game, you were probably the reason. You were probably the actual reason they won. Small victories. What's up, man? Says appreciate you, JG. Glad to see you guys were here during the chat. That's awesome. Appreciate you guys always being part of the show and hanging out, chatting and all that kind of stuff. Chipper would tell me to remind you. We've got details pinned atop the bunker about the bunker event in Orange Beach. Going to be on the 25th of this month, so we're only 20 days away. We're going to be partying down on the, I guess we call it the inlet side on Orange Beach down there. And we've got a dock. We've got a trailer, like a nice trailer with air conditioning if it's hot. And we're going to have food out the ass. We're going to have bourbon out the ass. I bet you Locked On's going to show up with his 5-layer dessert. And it's always a good time. I think this is our 4th annual. Be the 4th one in a row that we have done. And it's always a good time. I will be there for sure. AA will be there 100%. I think D Lucky is 100% for this, who's a legend. And obviously, Chip. Intercoastal Waterway is what he calls it. I call it the inlet. But he's on the, you know what I mean, the water side, not the beach side. But it's still fun. So if you guys were in the neighborhood or would like to come down and hang out, we usually have somewhere between, 30 and 60 people there, something like that. So all the information is pinned atop the bunker, and it has been since either December or January. So that's something to think about. Let's see. Cleveland says, is there a buy-in for the link up? No. Long story short, no. Now, Chip does a lot of that on his own dime, and we love finding ways to help him when we get there, either by he generally doesn't like taking money, but he probably would if you insisted. But we try to find other ways to make sure he's taken care of. And Chris M says, I'll be there. Hopefully nobody shreds their hand this time. Yes, Gut Bucket. That was 2 years ago. Hurt his hand pretty bad. Although he wasn't too upset about it at the time. Because he's a tough some gun. But yeah, I didn't really love seeing his hand bleed like that. That kind of sucked. So my strong suggestion would be to let's just not injure ourselves. That would be great. All right, I'm going to wrap it up there, guys. Thanks for draining. Thanks for hanging. And the Auburn Tigers finished the season with a W, so that's a nice thing. And we'll be keeping you. Let's see. Hoke is going to be working the portal hard when this guy. Hey, what's up, G Curry? Jumps in with a super chat here late. Thank you for that, my guy. You're definitely one of our good luck charms for sure. I think of you as more of a football guy, but I was glad to have you here hanging out with us for this basketball game too. Hoke is going to be, I think, going balls deep on the portal, where he's going to move a little bit away from football, I think, during these last 2 weeks of spring practice and kind of focus on the portal. I'm going to help him with that where I can, but I'll probably be working on football. BMAT will be working on football. Caleb will be working on football. And, of course, Pink will be working on football like he does all the time. So we got lots of football coverage there. We will definitely be doing our best with basketball as well. We try to be everything. We got 6 full-time guys at Auburn Sports, and I think it's the greatest sight. I mean, seriously, we got an absolute murderer's row now with Jay Lee, me, Hoke, Caleb, BMAT, Pink. It's just really, really good dudes, and we care, and we just feel like we're doing a good job all the time. We feel like we are anyway. 2 great message boards, corner, bunker. If you guys aren't members, I strongly suggest that you do that. Anyway, guys, thanks for hanging out. 3.5 hours we went streaming today, and it finishes with the Auburn Tigers celebrating a national title. Or we'll just call it an NIT championship. Whatever you guys want to do. Everybody's winning. All right, guys. Peace and love. Love you guys. See you next time.